This episode is sponsored by Vision Attire, our clothing brand sponsor, who have kindly dressed me today. They do active wear for men and women and competitive wear for men in all categories. Go to visionattire.com.au, check them out, go to their socials, and while you're there shopping, use discount code MuscleTalks. Portion, 100% natural, Australian-made, single protein dog food company. Go to portion.com.au, use MuscleTalks25 for 25% off your first order and MuscleTalks10 for 10% off all your continued orders. Primabolics, Australia's favourite supplement company, proteins, pre-workouts and more. Go to primabolics.com.au and use code MuscleTalks15 for 15% off all orders purchased through their website.
Levels that you need to go through to get to that. And they're trying to go from here. They're trying to go from A to Z without doing LMNOP. Because bodybuilding starts and finishes with the waistline, to me.
Oh, I agree, man.
Doran was trying to talk to me when I was in my straight up prime, between 32 and 35. So I respected him an awful lot. So when he says, go run through that wall, I'm going to run through that wall. There's no doubt about what I'm going to attempt to do. If he say, go this hard or go that hard, I'm going to go balls out. When I was in high school, my high school teacher, she thought I should try bodybuilding. My first competition, when I took a 4th place, my second one, I won the second one. But then at that time when I won my second show, you're completely natural. You're completely like green. This guy walked up to me and said, you could be Mr. Olympia one day. And I was just like, Mr. Olympia? It was just so far over my head. Like, what do you mean? Why would you see that in me at this age?
Yeah.
But they saw that long ago. But it would take me to believe it, though. That's the only thing. They both helped me so much, and I feel like, and I was seeing people who wasn't even in the room, that was in so much pain, and talking to people and seeing people that wasn't actually there. They were telling me, I was like, man, and I wanted to kill myself, man. I wanted to just shoot myself. They said, just bring a gun. I said, I know just thinking back, I'm just begging for it just to end it all, because it was too much to even bear,
All right, you're back.
Well, here is a few that I just had in the garage.
Yeah. You were I heard on Doran and Yates you were a BMX. So you actually competed, didn't you?
That's awesome, man.
Mongoose, bro. I think Tony Doherty said you rocked up like you were, Mucky Mark and the Funky Bunch, or turning up like, just give me my trophy. I'm not even going on stage. And is he cool or is he shy? Is he the Barry White, the Floyd Mayweather, the Mike Tyson of bodybuilding? 72 IFBB competitions, 12 pro wins, firsts and runner-ups. Did every bodybuilding Grand Prix around the world, and was that an excuse just to see the world?
Hey, I love bodybuilding, and I wanted to keep this going for the future guys.
Oh, you did. 6 times Arnold Classic, right to the end. Should they rename it to the Chris Cormier Classic? Should they also rename the Ironman Pro and name it after you as well, after all the wins you've done? Once a hood, in the hood. Now Chris Cormier TV. Tenacious through injury, tenacious now tenacious to the end. BMX, skateboards, and more. The man of style, possibly the only bodybuilder with an entourage, Mr. Worldwide himself, Chris Cormier. Welcome, buddy.
How you doing?
Mate, are you the only guy? What's that?
You did some digging, huh?
All I know is, you have to be the rock star of bodybuilding. You have to be the rock star of bodybuilding. Because bodybuilding's could be pretty boring, man. But you were the only guy rocking an entourage and that had a green room.
It was wild. It was like, even when I went to Australia,
yeah,
I had at least 20 people with me. Some people I didn't even know, but some people was friends that was waiting for me to return down under.
Yep.
Even in defeat, when I walked out, I still had some Aussies out there waiting for me to all go off and get some food and hit the club and everything. But it was wild. I don't know why, but it was just, I'd go someplace and then next thing you know, it's 20 or 30 people walking with me to go to the next place. It's just wild. It was just wild like that.
Well, I guess I think you're an anomaly. Just like I think Lee Priest is a bit of an anomaly, like you two, but very different spectrums. But you're a rock star. But you also seem, Chris, like the coolest cat going around. I don't think you're trying to do that, but there's something about you. I think we all, people perceive us in a certain way. People perceive me in a certain way. And sometimes we feel like they get us wrong. They don't really know what we're like behind the scenes, but we seem to have this front. Do you think when you were bodybuilding, because you said something on Doran Yates' podcast, that though you mingled, though you hung around, and though it looked like a massive showpiece of entourage and people and all the sparkles, but you were still hungry and dedicated and focused. And how did you do that? How did you, even though there was probably more in the tank for you, but how did you know when to switch? Well, I don't think you ever switched off, but how did you entertain them, but making sure you knew where you were going?
Oh man, it would be at an Olympia, it'd be 20 people.
Yeah.
Let's say, I keep saying magic number 20, but it was around that number.
Yep.
But I don't know, I was comfortable in the chaos, I could say.
Yes.
Although nothing would bother me, everything would go over my shoulders. I would block out the world as opposed to anything that was not going to be in the way of what I'm trying to accomplish. And yeah, man, I tried to be that way because, coming from wrestling background, wrestling Cal State Bakersfield was here, and the top wrestler in the state of California, and then went on to had a full ride there. But we had a mental training course also. Oh. Before practice, we had a mental training course. Then we had this whole schedule of 5 miles run at 6 a.m., go to school, mental training course around 12. That leads into practice. That leads into study hall. And then that leads into going home and doing it all again the next day. Every day, even Sundays. We had 5 and 6 o'clock in the morning, we're doing 5 miles.
Wow.
That type of mental fortitude, and it's just a lot of people don't know that part about me, but I had a mental training course. I had all this stuff from school, and then I applied everything to bodybuilding. Bodybuilding was so much more easier to me than wrestling was. So I just took it as, I love to train hard. I love to train. I felt like I can out-train people in the gym, and I felt like I had the upper hand on the stage.
Wow. But the thing is, I won't even call you the smiling assassin, because you didn't smile that much when I think about it. But you were, you didn't smile much. You didn't say much, but I think you're an assassin. I think that's what was your thing. I think you said you blocked out the noise. So you didn't really, I'm trying to cut out all the swearing I do, but you were trying to block out, you didn't care who was on stage. You were just like that eye of the tiger. You were just on, you knew your business, and you actually thought these guys don't know what's coming at the same time, like I'm on.
But I feel like they needed to see, in my mind, they needed to see if I was on or not to see where they're going to place. Because if I was on, a lot of them wasn't going to place ahead of me. That was my mindset behind going into a competition. I didn't care if you're standing on my head, on my side, or whatever.
Wow.
I was going to look good and look the best.
I love that attitude. Hey guys, I just want to say thank you so much to everyone who has subscribed, who is following us on all platforms, but especially here on YouTube. And if you're listening to us on Spotify, please, if you could do us a big favor, which helps us reach more people, get better, bigger, greater. We've already had some great guests anyway. Everyone's been a treat. Hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you're notified every week a new podcast that is launched. And I just want to say a big thank you. But again, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and enjoy watching Muscle Talks podcasts. Tell me something. I had Ed Connors on, obviously, a few weeks back, and I've spoken to people, and I keep hearing this in America. So it seems like it's either, if it's not NFL, and if it's not NBA, and if it's not all that, it's either bodybuilding or wrestling. Is that the thing that's going on in America in the schools? Like they teach you guys to wrestle, and if it's wrestling's not your thing, I mean, obviously that's a sport that has a lot of weight training, a lot of putting on size, looking muscular. So then you might turn to bodybuilding. Is that right? Because in Australia, we don't have that. We don't even promote bodybuilding in schools. We don't even promote, I mean, we do get kids to go to school, but our teachers are half asleep. But the thing is, we don't promote that kind of physical activity. Is that big time in America? And is it that choice that you had? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I believe so. I believe the parents today, they want to get their kids involved in something. It's usually some type of physical activity. Now, a lot of kids, gyms or programs. Mm-hmm. Some good friends of mine hold a lot of good programs for young kids, teaching them. And, not only agility, but strength training, all this things going on from a very young age here. When I was in high school, my high school teacher, Kathy Loria.
Yeah.
She thought I should try bodybuilding. I remember I walked up to her desk and she looked at me and she's like, "Chris, you have a good physique. You should try bodybuilding." I was like, "You think so?" She's like, "Yes, there's a competition coming up in 2 weeks. You should go check it out and see if you like it."
And wasn't there who was there was a guest poser, is that correct? There was a guest poser at that. Who was it?
Mike Christian.
And that was quite a guest poser.
Yeah. So he was Mr. California at the time. Yeah. He was still an amateur, but he was very impressive.
Yeah.
And I thought then, I was like, I want to do this, but the only thing that can hold me back now is I was a little bit shy. So I was a guy that didn't talk much in school, didn't want to talk. And as I went to, turn pro and everything, it was hard for me to talk. I mean, I'm a kid that, people don't even know this much, but, I had a speech impediment when I was young.
Okay.
Like I couldn't say vanilla.
Wow.
Like I could not. Even until I was closer to 10 years old, I couldn't really say the word.
You should have, if you were, that would work today, because even C-Bum with a lisp has gone a long way. So if only you could not say vanilla anymore, you'd be fucking rocking it. But go on.
But also, it was my favorite doggone flavor.
It's a good flavor, man. It's a good flavor.
To this day.
Yeah. Oh, man. So you were shy. Obviously, I'm thinking the speech impediment added to the shyness and probably the insecurities there. So go on, you were saying?
Yeah. So, as I was saying, with bodybuilding, even when I was like destined to turn pro, and I was like, okay, I won a teenage California. I won a teenage nationals, light heavyweight. I won, the men's when I went to the men's division. But I did have a lot of doubters. It wasn't like everyone was on board with what I was doing. I had a lot of doubters.
Yeah.
So, but that fueled me. I liked it. I like to have the doubters because that's going to make me go harder.
Yeah.
You say I can't do something, I'm going to go harder at it.
Oh, there's so many of those.
Yeah. So with that, to back what we were saying, and the younger generation now is coming up. They have a lot more programs and everything that's helping, speed it up. I just got to say something about the work ethic.
Yeah, please.
The work ethic that's where I think they need to understand. It's not just about the TikToks and the Instagrams and stuff like that. Whenever we did some type of video, anything, we felt that was almost like a day off, almost like not as a progression or type day of where you're going to progress and you're going to get better.
Yeah.
It was harder.
Yeah.
It was harder when we did a photo shoot. I felt like, that'd be on my day off because it's not as intense.
Yeah.
And then, and some people even throw that word around, intense, and they don't really understand real intensity.
Well, the thing is, and I want to elaborate a little bit further because I was at the gym a few days ago and I've told a few people, and tell me if you'd agree. There was these guys, two young guys, and one guy's doing curls. And he gets to failure, but his mate's laughing at him. Some are on the phone and laughing at him. And I said, and I went over, right? I go, another 3, man. I go, come on, let's go. And he's doing it. 1. I go, come on, another one. I said, another one. And then I go, another one. I said, listen, bro, you're wasting your time coming together to the gym if this is it. You only come to the gym to spot. You come to the gym to motivate each other. If you're just standing next to your mate and he's gone to failure and you think good on you or well done or wow, like you did it, you didn't do it. That's your job. I trained by myself. I said, I wish I had a spotting buddy. But I said, all you people come in here, I said, and you tell me if this is not true. I said to them this. I said to them, when I used to go to the gym, we were scared because it was a fucking hurt yourself day. No one went to the gym happy. We didn't go inside the gym going, oh man, this is going to be a good leg workout. This is like, fuck, are you serious? We're going to lift today legs. Are we going to push that hard today? And there was a prerequisite in the gym that if a guy come up to you and said, because when they all say, how did you guys train for 2 hours? Well, we didn't train for 2 hours, man. We half the time spotted in the gym. They spotted us. Like there was a lot of stuff going on inside those 2 hours. We didn't fucking sit there the whole time like doing chest workout for 2 hours. It was like, and I think I've seen guys, their mates on the bench press and they're looking at their phone and his mate's dying on the bench press. But our job, or what I think gym is a world of pain. Welcome to the world of pain. And when you go there, you shouldn't be comfortable. It's fuck, we're having a workout now. And you go in there, you smash yourself up and you leave and think, what am I going to eat now because that was hard? Or what am I going to do now because that was hard? But everyone goes in like it's some fashion parade and like their tripods are there and it's the perfect picture. I don't know. What do you think about all that? Because it's our era. You know our era. Well, go ahead.
Yeah. I personally know every side of what you're talking about.
Yeah, you do.
But I understand theirs also. I understand the young cat.
Yeah.
I understand the guys who's not ready. They're in there, but they're not ready to go there. Yeah. They don't want to take it there. No. But they want to stay here where they're comfortable.
Yeah.
He's comfortable with that. So it's different periods of that for every individual, I think. But you have to understand, you got to mentally turn that switch. And this is what I want. And this is what I know it's going to hurt, but this is what I want. I want the result of it. So people don't have that or a taste of it to where they don't even understand that there's something else out there. Because when I first was training with Robbie Robertson, he was trying to introduce me to things that I wasn't ready for yet. Yeah. Even though I was a good bodybuilder, I just still wasn't ready for that. Like I wanted to go heavier. He wanted me to go lighter.
Oh.
He wanted me to contract. I wanted to go through.
Yeah.
You know, he wanted me to do the 40-pound dumbbell curls. I wanted to do 80s.
Yeah.
In my mind, I thought if I go heavier, I get bigger. If I go heavier, I get bigger. If I go heavier on the incline, which is like my, you know, the story with my teacher, her boyfriend was a bodybuilder that trained in Venice.
And they gave you a book as well to read, from what I recall.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Stack of books.
Yeah.
He told me, you're not shit unless you're doing 400 pounds on the incline. So that was the mark. I was like, oh shit, I want to be something. I want to do. You know, it's cool and everything, but when you can get into the real mind muscle connection, a lot of people throw that word around loosely that still don't really understand it. But when you really understand it, that's the beauty of the bodybuilding. That's the whole other world. That's the enigma of it all. It's just I don't know. And I try to teach people, but I've gotten to the point I feel like I mastered it. I mastered it all now. Actually, the gym, I mastered it, and I can take people, but I'm like, if you're in a dojo and you get a white belt, green belt, brown belt, on up to black belt, I take a person, I leave them at the white belt for a minute, then I slowly start to introduce the different parts of the training, and I think that's the way to go, because a lot of people are not really. And that's the thing, you know, some of the younger guys are saying, oh, you need to squeeze, you know, hearing Doran, this and that. But it's like, there's a whole nother levels that you need to go through to get to that. And they're trying to go from here. They're trying to go from A to Z without doing LMNOP.
This episode is sponsored by Vision Attire, premium Australian active wear for men and women, including comp day wear for all male divisions. Their men's physique shorts are tailored for the stage with quick dry fabric and a cut that brings out your taper. Visit visionattire.com.au and use code MuscleTalks for 20% off. Portion, 100% natural, single ingredient Aussie dog food. No fillers, no nasties, just real high protein treats like kangaroo jerky and goat trotters. Go to portion.com.au, use MuscleTalks25 for 25% off your first order, and MuscleTalks10 for 10% off all orders after that. Primabolics, Australia's most trusted supplement, backed by full clinical doses. Whether it's protein, pre-workouts, or health support, they've got you covered. Visit primabolics.com.au and use MuscleTalks15 for 15% off all your orders.
It's funny how you say that, because it reminds me of, obviously you mentioned martial arts, and they got belts. And my son did some martial arts, and I had a friend, he's pretty good at martial arts, and he said to my son, he goes, don't go to the next belt till you're the best at that belt. He goes, because there's white belts that can smash up yellow belts and brown. Like, just because you're a black belt, you might get someone lower belt that is just exhausted that realm. And when you say what you said, no wonder I didn't compete. When I think about what you guys, because I probably fought. You know, it's true. There's a stage in training where you become complacent and you don't even know. That's what I love about bodybuilding. Bodybuilding wakes you up every day. You could train shit for 6 months and go, what have I been doing, man? Let's get on. Let's go. Or you could do and you know, being the same age we are, you go, what did I do in my 40s, man? Let's get it on. We've got to that's the beautiful thing about bodybuilding. You can hone your craft. Sure, maybe we can't do the things that we did when we were younger, but don't you think it just gets better? You can perfect it better. We're learning better, but the same principles apply. But like you said to you, these kids, just to go back with the kid that did another 3, it wasn't that it was about being heavy. Because even when I spoke to them, it was the words I was using, and I was piercing in their eyes. I was looking at them saying, look, and you could tell, but I said, you can do what you're doing now and you'll get whatever you get at a certain amount of time. But if you lock in, you get to it quicker. Yeah. You get to it quicker. Like if you two came in and talked to nobody and you just focused on each other and you trained with each other and you looked after each other, what you're going to do in 6 months is going to be different to what you're doing right now in 6 months. You're going to have results. And I think that's what I was trying to say to them.
Yeah. Yeah, that's another thing. Like, let's say when I was young, before I was 10 years old, I was flexing my hamstrings.
Oh, wow.
And people were like, and I had a round ball, like at the bottom of my back of my leg, and I knew I could flex it. No one ever told me to or asked me to, or I didn't know what muscle it was exactly. Wow. But I knew I could do it.
Yeah.
So let's take that person. When I'm 12 or so, I'm rolling my stomach. You know, I'm rolling my stomach that you would see like when I would compete.
Yeah.
No one told me to do that either. I didn't know other people did it. I didn't know it was a thing. I didn't even know. I just had a control over my body that no one's ever asked me to have. I could hit the first time I tried to hit a lat spread, I hit it perfectly.
Wow.
I was fully connected with my body. When you graduate, they give you little things you could pick out, little sayings you can say that is going to tell the world that this is what I'm about and this is what I'm doing on graduation day. Mm-hmm. My mind, body, and soul. And I was 16 years old when I graduated high school and then college. Normally people are 17 or 18, but I was a little bit younger.
How come you went to school earlier? Let's segue a little bit around, because you started school. I've got it here. Yeah, you started school 2 years earlier than everyone else. And was it that you were a genius?
Yeah, because my parents, they said I didn't like the babysitter. On the street, I started to cry.
Yeah,
and so they said, you know what, we got to work. We work all the time. So our only choice now is to put him in school. So they just put me in school early. It was not that I was smarter or anything. It was just I didn't want to go to the babysitter, and that was our next choice.
Did you find that an advantage, a disadvantage? How'd you find it being a little bit younger in mine?
It made me want to, it did a number on me mentally when I got to go to PE class. You got to take showers with everybody. Everybody's a lot more.
They're all packed. They're all packed and strapped. Oh, but hey, wait a minute, man. Stop it. You're Chris Cormier. Fucking you intimidated them, brother. All right. You.
But then when, as I got a little older, I noticed all my friends were bigger than me, more, so I started lifting weights. I wanted to be as big as they were, but I just caught up to them and passed them like really fast. I was gaining 15 and 20 pounds a year, and the thing is, now people talk a little bit about the drugs and the younger and all this stuff, but that was not a thing in my area. We didn't know about this stuff or talk about this stuff. It never know. I didn't even hear about anything drug-wise until I went to college, and that's when I was around the people.
Yep.
But I was 16 when I graduated, so I'm now on the Hall of Fame of my high school, Palm Springs High, and they said if they would have known I was that young, they would have helped me back and let me still compete in school, because I still had another year or two that I could have been in high school football or wrestling. I probably would have been state champions, in both of those fields.
Why didn't they hold you back? Because sometimes schools repeat
they didn't know.
They didn't know.
No, I told them I was a different age.
Oh, you gave them a different age. Wow. Okay. Yes. Okay. Yeah. I was going to say, because usually they'll repeat you or hold you back a little bit.
That's where you could change your birth certificate back in the day.
Oh, mate, what are we talking about? You could borrow your mate's driver's license. It never had a photo. It never had a photo on it. Never had a photo on. Nothing had photos, mate. Nothing was scanned. That were the.
But it was something, though. It was something. But what I was trying to get at when I said when I was posing, flexing my hamstring, all that stuff.
Yeah.
That people don't understand my mind muscle connection is going to be different from their mind muscle connection.
Yeah.
If I'm that connected that young, just think if I stayed in bodybuilding from the age of 12 and 15, let's say I was working out at 12, but I started bodybuilding at age 15.
Yep.
When that lady said, go to that show, that was 1983.
Yep.
I'm bodybuilding,
so 100%.
It's a competition. So just think now that I'm the age I am now, and I never walked away from the sport. I always stayed connected or training someone or helping. I was helping people when I was competing. I was helping the likes of Jay Cutler. I was helping the likes of Dexter Jackson, Melvin Anthony, that you've heard of.
Yep.
I've helped in some type of way to help their career and made a difference for them. They can still tell you that to this day. So that was during my competitive years. So then after I left bodybuilding, that's when I went back to learning in the classroom about training, about, spending 8 and 10 hours a day in the classrooms about lifting and training and what's this type of movement, what's this, about the human body and about everything it tells about personal training. I want to understand this on a different level from me, sculpting my body or trying to reach a type of look or balance my physique out the way I did it. And then, and when I trained with Doran, that was a whole nother education in itself.
I still can't believe that. I can't believe you trained with Doran and he's your mate as well. It was actually, you guys did his first podcast together because I watched that as well. So go ahead.
Yeah, so that was a different, sorry about that. I had it on Do Not Disturb and it's still.
That's all right. We get that.
So that right there is, I feel like I was baptized all over again.
Really?
Oh yeah. It was amazing. I felt like I was like, it's almost like you at the Mecca and you're like, you're just like, this is what I've been looking for all my life, that type of feeling. And I know I give that type of feeling off to other people that I train, but I try not to go from 0 to 100 with people because I think it's like I say, you got the belts that you got to go through. That's how
and be the best at those belts. But Doran wanted you. Correct me if I'm wrong now, because we haven't even gone to the script yet. And we will. But Doran, he wanted to train you very early on, but you never went. And then when you did go to Doran, you were like, I fucking wasted all that effort. I could have been at the Mecca early. And you felt like it was, you knew you only had a short time left and you thought like, if I had that, what it could have been, and I'm doing it now. Like there was a kind of like a joy, but a sadness at the same time, a regret.
Oh yeah,
you're
furious.
Yeah.
Furious.
You're furious. Yeah. You sounded furious when you spoke to him on the podcast. Like, not that you were screaming and shouting, but you sounded pissed. You sounded pissed.
Yeah, I was pissed because I see that in a lot of guys. A lot of guys acting like they have tomorrow. And I was one of those guys, is why, at this time, I'm like, some of these guys I try to reach out to, or I try to be like, hey, man, you think you have all this time, but you don't. No, and you're not doing the way you're doing it now, you're never going to get there. I see the way I could read how someone is training, look at them, how they train, and tell you, you're not there. And I could see the difference. I could totally read everything. And Doran was trying to talk to me when I was in my straight up prime between 32 and 35. And he was like, man, you need to come and stay and train with me for, 2 to 3 months. And I was able to do it. It's just that I was comfortable doing what I was doing. I was comfortable, with Charles Glass, no disrespect to him. He did what he could. But there was another place where I wanted to go mentally and physically that no one was bringing me there.
But Doran could have.
He could have.
But you didn't know.
We were good friends also from 1990. We met and we stayed I was like one of his closest friends in the sport. as far as like as we grew in our years. And he was, so I respect him an awful lot. So when he says go run through that wall, I'm gonna run through that wall. There's no doubt about what I'm gonna attempt to do. If he say go this hard or go that hard, I'm gonna go balls out, because that's what he's asking me to do, and I have respect for him. So a lot of guys that I'm in contact with, they don't get it. And I see, and they're waiting and waiting. Okay, yeah. And I'm like, all right. And I could tell, a lot of these guys, the way they go about their competition, or where they go about doing anything to get, if you're in this sport, you're trying to do all you can, but they're not doing it, and it's sad, because a lot of them are going to feel what I felt like I could have did at the end. And a lot of people think, I think it was just basically that. I think that people, if you can go back and do it again, would you do it the same way? And I know, and people think you could just watch from a YouTube, someone say, okay, I can watch Blood and Guts, and then now I know what he's doing. But people was doing this, like, I can count back. I was 43 at the time. So basically 14, 15 years ago, I've been on this mindset. 14 or 15 years ago. Yeah. But then the people that want to, like I say, go from A to Z, they're coaching or they're whatever, but they think they know what I would know at Z when they didn't do all this in the middle here. That's going, like, let's say if I train someone, but I've been in this gym over 45 years or whatever. Yep. I with 10 years or 20 years, I think they've been in it for a long haul. You're still not there. No. You think you are, but you're not there. And when you get up there, if you're lucky to have the mentality behind the repetition and what it entails, then you'll know the difference. But a lot of people don't ever get there. That's the thing. And they think they are, but they're not there.
Do you think as well, because we mentioned it off camera, we'll talk about it now, but like that 90s era, that 90s lineup, and also the early 2000s, do you think the work ethic was on you and it wasn't on your coach, or really did anyone have a coach? And what I'm saying is, and did anyone have a coach? What I'm getting at is, and also you guys, correct me if I'm wrong, whether you were competing, you got on or you didn't get on, but you guys, your coach was your training buddy. And usually your training buddy was the guy on stage with you. And the thing was that you guys like relied on each other to get on stage. Where, do you think today they don't, like I said to you, everyone's gone too solo? I don't need you, man. I don't need you, man. I don't need you, man. I'm a soul, like I'm a lone ranger. But you guys, even though you're a lone ranger on stage, off stage, you said you just helped Jay Cutler. You said you helped this person. But I mean, everybody kind of worked together in some ways, or previous bodybuilders. It was always about the previous bodybuilder, not the previous coach. Like you talk about James Brown, and you talk, not James Brown, what's his name? John Brown? What's his name with? Sorry?
John Brown?
Yeah, John Brown, and you talk about Sean Ray and wanting to move in that area where they were. But we won't go there yet. But that's how far you guys went. But that's how far it went.
Yeah, because I knew I was in Palm Springs. I knew, we had there's Rachel McClish lived in Palm Springs. There's Matt Mendenhall, he lived in Palm Springs. There was Bob Birdsong, was the first bodybuilder I laid eyes on that lived in Palm Springs, still living there, Palm Springs. The old school guys that I consider.
Frank Zane. Frank Zane was in there too, wasn't he?
Frank Zane also.
Come on, man.
I him at the post office sometime.
I know, you harassed him, didn't you? You were stalking him.
Yeah. I'd go by, drive by his house, see if I see him. I never saw him by his house,
but when he saw you drive by, mate, he was hiding because you're from the hood, man. You're from the dark side. You're on the wrong place, mate. Anybody coming past with a Camaro, mate, would be diving. All right, come on, Chris. You wanted to say hello to him, but he when he saw you coming down the street, he dived behind the bushes, mate, because he was scared.
Yeah, so that's yeah. So what we're saying, let's say the work ethic behind the training partner. My training partners was Flex Wheeler and Rico McClinton.
Wow. Now talk about let's talk about that. Yeah.
So we started out. I just wanted to go see. We didn't know each other. I knew of Rico because I was to go make a way up to Goals in Venice, and then I would go and get some. I would get like, oh man, I gave me some juice. I would go back to Palm Springs and train for the next month. I'll go back and I just watch people from the gate. You know, I'd buy a magazine and buy a shirt.
Yeah,
and I go and I get, you know, that'll keep me for another month, and I go back. And then
how many hours drive was that?
2 hours.
That's what I wanted to say. We've got every gym that's like everyone wants a gym in their suburb. We drove an hour, 45 minutes in shit old cars that had no air conditioning, rolled down the windows, seatbelts and you were happy seatbelts that burnt our crutch. Like, you know what I'm trying to say? And these guys, like I said, but you drove 2 hours, get a shirt, get a T-shirt, see the greats. Go on. Yeah, go on.
Yeah. So even when my first competition, when I took a 4th place, second one, I won the second one. But then at that time when I won my second show, you know, you're completely natural. You're completely like green, but trying to learn. I'm eager to learn. You know, this guy walked up to me and said, "You could be Mr. Olympia one day." And I was just like, Mr. Olympia? It was just so far over my head. Like, what do you mean? Why would you see that in me at this age?
Yeah.
And at this juncture of my, you know, turned out to be a career. But they saw that long ago. But it would take me to believe it, though. That's the only thing. But to go to Venice, I would see, you know, these people, and then I met up with Rico McClinton, and he comes from a neighborhood, you know, such as myself. I met him in Gold's Gym. And we kind of just looked at each other across the gym, and it was like he just raised his shirt up and went like that, like. And so I like pull my pants down and show my quads, like.
That's the way.
God, that's how we met, and that's how we became the best of friends after that. We spoke on the phone every morning for years to come. Flex, I didn't know Flex. So I went to see the California State Championships because I was going to do that show the next year. I wanted to see it. He was sitting there, Flex was sitting there, and he was like a little kid. He was very young, very, very, very raw, and he ended up winning the overall title. And then we didn't become friends at that time. I just said what's up with him when I saw him. Just being cool with another brother. And then next thing you know, he's hanging out with Rico and I'm hanging out with Rico, and we became this trio of training partners. We ate together, did cardio together, we trained together, we worked together at a nightclub that when I eventually moved to Venice, we all worked at Roxbury nightclub together. So we fought together. We did everything together, you know, so
I can imagine.
That's the thing. But so it meant something to each and every one of us to hold up our end of the deal when it came to training, when it came to missing a training session, when it came to being whatever on time, when it came to working as hard as you're supposed to work. We held each other accountable for that. And when it came to the posing, it was us three in the posing room pushing each other through different sessions of posing, which can come from 5 to 10 to 15 rounds of posing at any given time. And that was our thing. And we were very paranoid about missing a session of training. You know, even if I worked in 5 nights a week in a nightclub, 2 or 3 days in GNC during the daytime, I still worked out twice a day. That's in the morning at 10 and in the evening at 5. I would still, and that's the thing. Like, we wanted it that bad. We wanted it so bad. And people don't realize that to this day, that, you know, if it takes you to work in a nightclub 5 nights a week, so be it. That's what it takes. But, you know, so. But
what happened? I mean, I think now everyone's going to say, but that's to their detriment. They could have been better. But what do you talk about? They still talk about the 90s and the 2000s. They still talk about it today. They still talk about that lineup. They still talk about that body structure. They still talk about the masculinity. They still talk about the design. Everyone's massive now, like massive. But I'm gonna go 2 ways, and let's go with like this. You trained twice a day. We need to tell people what you train twice a day before they freak out. That's 1. 2, you would finish at the nightclub, I gather, at 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning. You'd probably eat something on the way home. You'd probably go to a steakhouse. You go to a steakhouse. You'd be probably at a place where you had to get nourishment. And then you went to sleep, probably only slept 4 hours, 3 hours. And you're so go on.
Yeah, I did sleep around 4 hours on a regular basis, 4 or 5 hours, especially when it comes to competition time. I wasn't sleeping that much. But you got to admit this, you got to understand this part. We play video games too.
Yeah.
So sometimes we would leave and play video games after work, after we're eating, playing video games. And then if we played too late, we'd go straight to the gym and train, because we thought that if we slept, we was going to oversleep past our training time. So we would go to the gym sometime. And I remember we'd be in Gold's Gym Venice at 6 o'clock in the morning after working all night.
Yes.
We're falling asleep during our rest time. We're like nodding off like this. And we're like, oh, it's your time. Let's go. And then we would go home, and then we'd rest, and then we'd come back that later on that evening and train.
Yeah. Because I guess we're not trying to encourage people not to sleep, but I guess we did. I mean, like I said, you're at a different level to me. I don't want to compare, but what I'm saying is, I love bodybuilding. We fitted it in our day. We made it happen, but at the same time, we didn't. I don't think we worried as much about what was going on around bodybuilding. We just knew that the bit we had to worry about was turning up. You had to turn up, right? And
yeah,
that was it. You had to turn up. And the funniest thing was, like I said, when we talk about the structures and the design, I remember listening to Lee Lambrada and Rick Gaspari and even Sean Ray. You know, they never ever talked about size, because it wasn't about turning up on stage outsizing someone. They turned up out displaying someone that their body was beautiful, like well structured, small waistlines, big sweeps, beautiful posing, big arms, big shoulders. But we're talking about, but it wasn't, they could never beat someone that was, say, 5'9", 5'10", 6 foot, big, like, let's say, without argument, without saying, they weren't concerned about the mass monsters. They were saying the illusion is how we design our body, how we diet down, how we come on stage, how full we look, how healthy we look, and how we pose. And that's why they won. And that's why they kept winning, because it wasn't, like you said, it wasn't about loading up, getting bigger, more juice. Next year come in 10 kilos bigger or pounds. Yeah. They just went, how do I design myself better? How do I bring up my tricep in the arm that lacked me last year? How do I bring the obliques in that lacked me last year? But everyone's going, just get bigger. Just go wow. Let's go wow. Let's go. But these guys were, no, let's go sexy. I mean, not sexy. You know what I'm trying to say. Let's go and put on a show that represents torso and people admire it. And you won because you bring in the best looking body. The best looking body. That's what it is, you know?
I agree with that 100%. You want to be like a Greek god. You sort of like the guys that walked like there's still, you know, a bodybuilder, you know, you want to keep that waist in. Even in the off season, we want our waist as tight as possible.
Yeah.
And because bodybuilding starts and finishes with the waistline, to me.
Oh, I agree, man.
And then because everyone could be, how many big people we can get over 300 pounds? You're just big. Now your stomach is further than your chest. And you want to be like, you think that doesn't make you a special body. A special body is the one that's tight here, got attributes of the quads, attributes of a wide shoulder base, and just do the best that you can with the genetics you have. But it was not, you know, because I remember I creeped up closer to 297 and I thought that was too much. I was like, this is not what I'm trying to do. So I down 5 pounds from that. And I liked where I was at 293, a lot more than 290, closer to 300 pounds. That's not the look I was going for. And even when things crept in, like the growth hormone and stuff like this, I was declining that. I was like, I'm not going to do that. I'll let you guys do that. I'll keep doing what I'm doing.
Yeah.
You guys down the road and see what that looks like. And I didn't take that route. So that's the thing is, you know, people thought, you know, I was doing the insulin because everybody else was, but I didn't know. I said I just felt like that was making people's stomachs start to go on the side of where I wasn't after that type of look. But if you can improve your pose, let's say a front double bicep, I need a little bit more arms, maybe more triceps in this front double. I need more definition in my quads when I hit this shot. So you want to improve your shots, front, lat spread, back double bicep. You know, I remember one day I was flexing my back. I was in the mirror at Gold's, and I was like, "Oh yeah, what do you think, Rico?" He's like, "You look good, but your back is flat." Like it's not much pop in it. You have the lines, develop those muscles more so. And I remember it hurt my feelings a little bit, but I took it as constructive criticism, and I went to work on that area to improve that area. When I did that, that's when a lot of things started to come, because that's what I see. When I see a good trainer or people that think they're a good trainer, I look at the guys and I look in the back. And I'm not talking about something you did in the bathroom to your back. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the work you put in the gym.
Yeah.
And it's a different look. I can tell the look. I know what the human body looks like.
Yeah.
And some of the muscles in some of these people, it's not humanly possible to look like what people are trying to make it out to be on the stage. It's not humanly. So when you have that look, it just looks soft. It don't look like that granite. You don't see the striations. You don't see none of that. I come from an era where I like to see the striations. I like to see the muscles move when you pose, not the same size here, same size here, same size here. I want to open up and contract and blossom. That's what I want out of bodybuilding.
Well, it's funny because I mean, you know, it's online, the world. It's sometimes it's way too much, like what I see as well. Like I think to myself, fuck, it just seemed like I do everything wrong. But all I know is the fundamentals for me, it was back then. And think about the principles, right? Everyone talks about bench press. Everyone talks about the bench press, right? Everyone goes, oh, you don't need to do bench press because incline works better. And like, I mean, everyone's got these intricate studies now. But how big was everyone's chest in the 80s and 90s and early 2000s? Like I'm talking about Arnold's chest. What I'm trying to say to you is the reason they had small waists is because they build big chests, right? They had They were broad. They made themselves broad because they had to be broad. Big wings on the back. Like they were just wanting big wings, right? Big backs. And then they went down and they said, right, the legs, we need big teardrop, big sweep, right? And what I'm trying to say to you is the design was never about everything becoming big. They knew if we V'd up and did that, then we brought the arms in. But what I'm getting is it was just so chiseled here. It wasn't like just
more.
It was
artistically put together.
Yeah, it was artistically, but they knew that it wasn't about like just a big chest. It had to be a full chest. And that's why these big chested, like it was a big chest. It was, like I said, big lats, broad shoulders. You had to look broad. You had to look broad. It was just, I don't know, like and the small waistline where now, like I said, some people, I'm just, like I said, when you see them on stage and look, they're big. They do a double bicep, mate, their waistline nearly is the size of their back sometimes. You know what I'm trying to say? Well, yeah.
If you're looking to put on 10 and 20 pounds, let's say 10 kilos, whatever you want to say, you're just the person that gained this weight. That's not going to make you a better bodybuilder.
No.
If you look like you put on this type of weight in different parts of your body, but the waist is still the same, because I remember mine, I gained about, with 100 pounds, only gained like 1.5 inches in my waist.
Yep.
With 100 pounds. Because
Wow.
I kept measuring it the whole time.
Mm.
I kept measuring my quads, my neck, my biceps all at the same time. And to be perfectly put together in my eyes, you wanted to keep a close eye on all the different measurements of your body. And so it wasn't on accident that I had a very balanced body. It was on purpose from reading, I'm reading from the Arnold Schwarzenegger's encyclopedia of bodybuilding. Like he had all these measurements that you got, or proportion of your body, all the different keys and elements you need to be a perfect bodybuilder. I read that from the book Be Fit. I read all those books coming up, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to apply all of this to the T. And then to be involved and did photographs with the second encyclopedia book, and to be, in that magazine, that was like, oh man, this is special for me, So, and going and meeting Joe Weider and coming through those doors. I remember leaving Joe Weider's office when he said, oh, we're gonna sign you to a contract, and I was like, man, all that stuff meant like the world to me, and it's like, just to follow the footsteps of all those greats before me. That's what I wanted to accomplish. That's what I wanted to feel that.
Well, I think you did, and you look. Let me mention. Like, this is ridiculous. That. Like 70. Like, Chris, come on. I mean, you are the real deal. That's why you're called the real deal. Look at this. This is literally 3 pages. Look, I'll tell you your comps. Look, 1 page. 2 page, 3 page, 3.5 pages, 72 IFBB competitions, 12 professional wins, first place runner-ups, and a record 6 times Arnold Classic, right? But I'm going to speed read this because this is ridiculous. But let me, and I don't understand why you missed a few years, but literally you only missed, literally not even a handful, but you did. And this is what I think we need to talk about a little bit. You did 1987, and just give me 5 minutes because I'll read this quickly. You went 1987 NPC California Championship Teenage Division first. They've got to hear all this. 1987 NPC Teenage Nationals Lightweight first. 1991 NPC USA Championships Heavyweight fourth. And 1993, remember 2 in 87, 1 in 93, and 1 in 1993 in NPC Championships Heavyweight first and overall. 94, listen to this. Arnold Classic 4th, 94, Grand Prix France 7th, 94, Grand Prix Germany 6th, 94, Ironman Pro Invitational 6th, 94, Mr. Olympia 6th. We're going to keep going, mate. Sit back, get yourself a drink. 95, Grand Prix England, or Grand Prix. 95, Grand Prix France, 5th, both those ones. Grand Prix Russia 95, 5th. 95, Grand Prix Spain. They've got to hear this, 4th. 95 Grand Prix, Ukraine. Jesus Christ. 4th, 95. You're the only guy traveling like this, brother. You are Mr. Worldwide. 95, Night of Champions, 4th. 95, Mr. Olympia, 6th. I'm tired just reading, but let me keep going. 96, Grand Prix, the Czech Republic. 96, Grand Prix, England. 96, Grand Prix, England, 8th, yeah. 96, Grand Prix, Spain, 8th. 96, Grand Prix, Switzerland, 8th. 96, Olympia, 7th. Wait a minute, 97 now. 97, Canadian Pro, 3rd. Let's go to the next page. 97, here we go. That was, sorry, let me just have a quick look. Yeah, 97, we're still going. Yeah, 97, continue. Yeah, Grand Prix, Czech Republic, 2nd. 97, Grand Prix, England. Sit back, relax, enjoy this, Chris. This is you. 97, Grand Prix, England, 2nd. 97, what a motherfucking year 97 was. 97, Grand Prix, Finland, 2nd. 97, Grand Prix, Germany, 6th. Listen, what I've got to tell Chris, listen to this. We haven't even started, man. I'm going to get tired reading this. 97, Grand Prix, listen, Chris, Hungary, 8th. This is still 97. Like I said, Russia, 4th. Spain, 6th. Grand Prix. Still in 97. Night of Champions, 1st. Still in 97. 8th, Olympia. 97, Toronto Pro International, 3rd. Now let's go 98. 98, Arnold Classic. Still in 98. Grand Prix, Finland, 4th. Germany, 4th. Mr. Olympia, 6th. 1998. Now 1999, Arnold Classic, 3rd. Ironman Pro International, 1st. Mr. Olympia, 3rd. I believe that was your best, one of your best packages, I think, in 99 you said as well, something like that, with the 2002. Now, let's go to 2000. 2000, Arnold Classic, 2nd. 2000, Ironman Pro International. That's why I said you always came first. International you get, they should name it after you. 2001, now we start to slow down a little bit, but we ramp it up in 2001. Arnold Classic, 2nd. Ironman, 1st. Let me change. Go next page. Then you came to fucking Australia, 2001. So he's traveling the world. This guy, you know what? He just wanted to see the world, not bodybuild. He was a tourist. This was his fucking Kentucky tour. This was a Kentucky tour for him. All right, and no wonder there's probably so many Chris Cormier babies in Australia. No wonder the population grew at that time, mate. It went through the fucking roof. Grand Prix Australia, 1st. This is 2001. Again, 2001, England, 2nd. Hungary, 2nd. These are all Grand Prix. New Zealand, 2nd. Again, Iron Pro International, 1st. I keep saying they should mention it. They should call it after you now. 2001, Olympia, 5th. And then, we're still not done. San Francisco Pro International, 1st. That's 2001. 2002, Arnold Classic, 2nd. Now, back to the Grand Prix. He came back to Australia, 2nd. Australia, 1st in 2002. 1st in Austria, 3rd in England, 2nd in Holland. Ironman Pro International, this is where I think you just stepped back for a second, you went 2nd. That's why they didn't name it after you. Then, in 2002, Mr. Olympia, 3rd. Not done yet. 2 more shows. San Francisco again, 2nd. 2002, Strength and the Show of Strength Pro Championship, 3rd. 2003, Arnold Classic, 2nd. Grand Prix Australia, 1st. San Francisco Pro, 2nd. Strength Championship, 7th. Let's go 2004. Everyone needs to hear this, Chris. Everyone needs to hear this about you, okay? Because this is not fucking real, all right? Because we could talk bodybuilding. No one can do this. No one's done this. No one's going to repeat this. This is a record. This should go into the World Guinness Book of World Records, I think. Arnold Classic, 2nd. Then Grand Prix Australia, 2nd. I'm assuming that was against probably, who knows, maybe Lee Priest. I don't know. Maybe so. Yeah, because I think Tony Doherty said you rocked up like you were, Mucky Mark and the Funky Bunch, or turning up like, just give me my trophy. I'm not even going on stage. And like, I don't even want to go on stage. Like, you want me to fucking go on stage? Fuck that little guy. I've just give it to me. Like I can imagine. And then again, this is 2004 continued. Then you went to England, 2nd Grand Prix. Holland, 2nd. Then Mr. Olympia. Then 2005, Arnold Classic, 2nd. Grand Prix Australia, 2nd. I think you're not happy now and maybe pissed. You probably didn't even go on stage. They just gave you 2nd. Mr. Olympia, 13th place. That was the one one of the few shows that year, apparently. And then San Francisco Pro International first. But I believe this is where injuries started coming in, these eras. But you still came, look, San Francisco Pro International first, IFBB Pro Montreal fourth. And that's 2007. And we know you were under duress and you're still, Chris, mate, like this is.
That was kind of like from the depth of I almost nearly died in that year for 2007.
I know what happened. I'm going to read it in a second, but let's just say, can anyone do that? No, really. No. I want you to tell me, can any bodybuilder survive doing that now? Survive.
No.
And wait a minute. And come in with a physique like that. Like literally you went pedal to the metal and you were like relentless, weren't you? They should call you relentless as well.
Yeah, even the one that was my only double-digit placing that you read in 2005 in my whole entire career.
100%. That's why I even put it in brackets.
But that's because I was in a terrible relationship.
Yep.
And it was I could not focus, not one day of that preparation. I knew that was going to happen. And then I finally I got it together a little bit for that last week. And then I made a really bad mistake of doing too many carbs. Because like if you're in shape, that's when you could push the carbs. If you're not in shape and you just get in shape, that muscle's not tight enough to the muscle. The muscle is not tight enough. Your skin is not tight enough to the muscle to push carbs. And I made that mistake and I pushed a little bit more carbs than what I should have. So that just made it 10 times worse. But it was just that. It was not of anything else. But then coming to that fourth place in Montreal, that was after, the spinal infection and the hospitalization. That was after but I didn't want it to beat me, and I wanted to make it back to the stage. But
the thing is, you did when you said you came 13th because of the relationship, but then you went to San Francisco Pro International and you got first. So you like think about it.
I had one more swing in me.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You fucking didn't. You just said, "What the fuck was that? This is not how I'm finishing 2005," and you didn't even use an excuse. You went, "I'm not even looking at placing. I'm taking it out." And you no one understood. Like when I read that and I saw that, and I don't think I've seen that ever before. What you put your body through, what you put mentally through, what you sacrificed. And also having an entourage and also partying at times. I mean, how did you do that? But no one can repeat that, man. No one can do that. No one can. No, really. No one can do it.
No, not every day, that's for sure. But it's, nowadays it wouldn't go that way. I mean, because I think one of those years, I think I read off like 12 shows that year.
Yeah.
And I was not just a spectator on the stage. So that's something to accomplish there.
Yeah, I told you first, second, third. Oh, look, I can see more. Look, first, second, first, mate. Only, like I said, first, second, first, second. Like only really when you said the third double-digit number, then I think the Show Strength Pro Championship where you came 7th. That's it. But like I said, Mr. Olympia maybe 5th. But other than that, like. I'm just wondering, but the thing was, you weren't completely rested for Olympia. You were
the thing. My Olympias, I was always. I think that's another thing. If I would have done one show a year like Sean Ray, that'd be easy to peak.
Yes.
At that show at the Olympia, but. I was doing multiple shows. I was doing shows that I didn't actually want to do, but I felt like I needed to do, not only for myself but for the future.
Do you think that's what it was? To make a name? Yeah. To make a name.
Yeah, and that was my actual goal, was to be, synonymous with the sport. My name is cemented in the sport. Like he was that guy, you know. So
I agree.
the one thing that's not on there is like I had this from my teenage years. I did my first show, that I did my second, but I did 7 competitions in a row, and when I was 18 years old.
What?
Yeah.
I'm
I did every weekend, 7 or 8 weeks in a row. I did a show in different parts of California. And I was looking for shows. I was looking to compete because I say, if I'm going to do this, I want to know exactly what I need to do. It's not about winning these shows. It's about competing. And it's about going up there and being a stage general. Like, I'm going to know exactly what I need to do. And I'm going to be ready. When I turn professional, I want to be a ready professional, not someone that's still trying to, I need to take 2 years off to try to get some mass on. No, I want to go be ready to come out firing. Mm-hmm. And I went straight ahead. I hit the first show that I can hit was the Ironman. I took second to Vince Taylor, and fourth in the Arnold Classic, my first 2 shows as a professional. And then 6th in Olympia that year, my first crack at the Olympia. So I was, and plus being around the likes of Gary Stridham and trained with him for like quite a bit of time, and also Robbie Robertson totally schooled me on being a professional, on how to be a professional, and then just watching these guys on a daily basis. That's where it was at,
Is that what you distill in the people you train now? How to be a professional? Forget about just being a bodybuilder. Like, do you think that's what coaches? What's a standout because of what you learned on people telling you not just about bodybuilding? You just said the word being a professional, and do you think that's where it's lost in the sport? No one looks at it as professional.
Yes, because here's the thing. Let me tell you about coaching and coaches and trainers, or whatever you want to call it, different people. Mm-hmm. Some people right now on a diet. Here you go. Mm. Right, here you go. Oh, considered the best coach in the world. But I'm spending a lot of physical time and dedicating a lot of my personal time with the guys that I keep under my wing. You don't hear about that stuff, but it's being done. And I'm going from my home to different gyms, to different states, to different countries, just to help a bodybuilder be the best he can be. But it's a mental process. It's a daily, I'm watching the mood swings, I'm catching all the bad time, the doubt, trying to raise the doubt out of there. Get them to understand, you could be the best on that stage. You can win. That's not talked about. You can, the different poses and the different times I'm trying to say in my mind, oh, this is enough posing for today, for that particular body, that particular person. How much they can take in the gym as far as the pain tolerance on the different exercises, and pushing them through that. Okay, we need posing after this. I know you're tired, but we got to pose. The body work, the deep tissue massage. I was getting deep tissue massage done to me in the 80s when it wasn't really known. Mm. I even told Jay Cutler about deep tissue massage. He never heard of it. Mm. And I directed him to a guy who was the best in the business. And he went to him. I didn't know he was going to do that, but he drove from Las Vegas to Newport Beach to work with this guy almost 3 to 5 times a week. Wow. And in the morning before he started his day. I didn't know he was going to do that, but he was driven to do what he was going to do. And he knew that was going to help him. And it did help him, because then he went from 17th Olympia to 2nd.
Yeah. I think I was listening to some of the great coaches, and just a little light bulb went off. Do you think we're out for, hear me out, do you think we're out for disaster before we fix things again? Like, we need it to crash and burn before it jumps. And I'll tell you what I mean by that. Like, let's talk about the Olympics, not Olympia, Olympics. To go to the Olympics, you need a certain style of coach or a certain type of person to make you the best in a country, best in the world. Yep. And when you look at NFL, some of these coaches, sometimes they know you're the best, but it's the mind game. I've got to work with you. I've got to help you mature. I've got to help you take on the media. I've got to help you discipline yourself I've got to teach you what it takes to be at that stage, to not flint with the cameras, to not
fidget, to not fidget during your poses.
Yeah, to not
everything.
fidget, to not do this, to not do that. So, but at the same time, do you think because everyone's acting like this high-end coach that eventually when everyone realizes they've wasted their time and they should just go to the guys that give them a package? It's not a diet. You kind of know that already. It's not just your training. You know that already. It's the other stuff that's going to make you not only the best on stage, possibly give you career, possibly give you sponsorships, possibly give you name in the game. But you guys want a quick fix. You're picking this coach because he made you believe it online. He made you think he's going to get you there. But am I right in saying this? That's why I said it needs to break before it fixes itself. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Because it's the absolute truth. Because, you know, I don't even market myself as coaching.
You don't. I noticed.
I don't.
No, I know.
I don't.
No.
I don't put exercises up. Hey, you could do this exercise, whatever. But it would take a certain person to even go through what they would need to go through in order to get that. And I think I don't know. I feel like my stuff is golden.
Yeah, I didn't realize this till now. But not only realize this, but everyone has gone on stage as an IFBB or anything amateur, and they get one pro card. They haven't even done a pro show yet, and now they're a posing coach, and now they're a diet coach. What I'm getting is how risky has our industry become, and how frivolous. Like what I'm trying to say is, what happened to just being an athlete and being the best athlete first? Get to the highest, be the best in Australia. Go win some pro shows. Even if you don't reach Olympia, even if you don't reach Olympia, win the second place at a pro show in America. Don't go to a cheap shot country. Go where the fucking cars are fast. You know what I mean? Don't go to Ethiopia and get second place at a fucking bodybuilding show. You know
and then be like, oh, look at these accomplishments. But you're right. You're 100% right.
The last thing I'll say, and don't tell us you came second in a 3-man show. Don't fucking tell us that shit. Don't tell us you came second in a 2-man show. Fuck. Tell us how, you know what? There should be a criteria. You should put down what you came and how many you competed against. That's all I want to know. You know what I mean? Fuck me. Really, because when I see people showing off their medals, I'm like, Chris, look at the medals, man. And then when you find out there was only 2 people in that show, you go, fuck me, dead. You know, come on, man. I'd say keep the medal.
Hey, man. But I've done a show like that though before as a teenager. I remember I did a show as a teenager with 2 people in the show with me and this other guy. Yeah. I said, God damn it, if I take second here, I'm done. Imagine
a 2-man show and you come second. That's a disgrace. That's worse than coming last out of 13 people. I prefer to come last out of 13 than come last out of 2. Hey, Chris, oh my God. So.
But that's the thing is, experience is one thing.
Yeah, fuck, man. Runs on the board. Do some stuff.
But you've seen it. You've seen people enter a gym on a Monday.
Yeah.
And you see them walk in with the trainer who's actually works at the gym, who gets, it's not really your trainer, but someone's going to put you through some exercises. I saw that same person the next Monday with a clipboard and training people. I've seen it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's ridiculous.
And then some of the federations that certified trainers, they're telling you can get off the couch and be a trainer, learn to be a trainer at your home, and then you get a certification, you go train people. You mean to tell me that person has the experience that it takes to be a good trainer? It does not. It does not compute in my mind that that's the way to go. When I have a PhD and a doctorate and a master's from Gold's Gym Venice, I got the nod from one of the greatest to do it, Doran Yates. And if you think about this, look, think about the hardcore bodybuilders in the world, they're not knocking down my door. They're not knocking down Dorian's door because they know what they're about. They know what they're going to take. They know, they don't want that smoke. They don't want that smoke. But they want to act like they want that smoke, and they do not want that smoke.
Well, the thing was, to become, which is called, I'm still trying to work out what's certified. I was a certified personal trainer, but I never did it because I'll tell you why I didn't train anyone, because I felt like if I went to the gym and I was young, I felt like if I went to the gym and I worked at the gym, meaning trained people, I wouldn't enjoy the gym because it became a job. And I had a good job. I had a good paying job. I was in IT. I'm a Greek guy. We've got to have 3 jobs. So I even did door work. I did a fucking kitchen hand, and I had a great career. That's what I'm saying. I even had good money, and I still went and got a 2nd and 3rd job, only because I wanted to get ahead in my career. So what I'm trying to say, no one thinks about getting ahead. No one thinks about thinking the future, what's to come, what to do. But what I was trying to say here is we've got a Cert 3 and a Cert 4. And Chris, our cinematographer here, he can go do that course, never walked in the gym, and then go and personal train people. What I mean is you don't even have to have been to the gym, but what's strange is physiotherapists, chiropractors, people that need to go to university, need to understand the body. Like we're handing out certificates on the back of a cornflakes pack, and then these people are going, say, to some guy who gets them to a comp. So now they think they know the journey to a comp. And because someone put them on a cycle, they think it's the same cycle you can sell to somebody else. Like, oh, mate, just go and take tests, this many mils, go take this many mils. But people are taken away like how can I explain? It's not for the faint-hearted, man. And if we keep everybody, like people have done, like I said, a comp, one, now they're a posing coach. Like, I've never seen so much posing coaches pop up in the last 2 years. And you know why? It's quick money. It's quick money. And that's...
They want quick money, and they don't...
There you go.
A lot of some money, and knowing let's say I help a person, they want to pay or whatever it is, or they want it for free or whatever. They're going to take whatever they learn and start selling it right away.
Why?
And then let's say I'll take that a step further. How you mentioned about the certifications and the people learning, universities or whatever. So a lot of guys get online and they know some really big words, really smart words. They talk really fast and use huge words, but they have no results behind it. They never built up a person, never built up a champion. They never built the muscle on their own body, but they know all these words, right? So, but people will buy that person's information or whatever because they sound super smart and scientific and whatever. But I always say, let's take the person who from the university where you got your degree, put them in a gym and see if they could train someone for the Miss Olympia, or say you could take a body who's not developed yet, make that person, spend that time with that person and build them up into a champion on the Olympia stage. And I guarantee you they won't be able to do it. So let's get a professor out of USC.
Yeah.
Let's get one out of Princeton.
Yeah.
Can they build a champion? No.
No.
But they got big words they can use that'll make you think they could, but they can't do it. I'd like to see it done.
But what I'm getting at is, but that's what we're saying. I'm saying is, you've done an amateur show, maybe you got a pro card, but it's even mindset mentors. Like I've got a 21-year-old daughter turning 22. I've got a 18-year-old son turning 19. I've got people I'm seeing now on the internet, people having babies, and they're saying that they're master parents now. Let me teach you how to be a fucking parent, and their kid's 6 months old. I still trying to, and the other thing is, no, true. And the thing is, I think, and there's a 20-year-old telling me he's a mindset coach, and I'm thinking, has this guy fucking invested in a property, tried to pay off the property, lost money in a business, fucking life, and he's in court with some fucking estranged woman. That's whatever is going on in life. You're a life coach, mate. I should be a life coach. I'm 56.
Life coach.
I'm ready for a life coach. I can tell you what's coming. I can tell you how much money you're going to blow by the age of 40 because you feel like you're owed. You feel like life owes you. You're going to wonder why the fuck you bought a Ferrari for fucking 250,000 and sold it fucking 5 years later for 120,000 because it was the biggest, worst investment. But you had a midlife crisis. You know what I mean? Like you've never ridden a fucking motorcycle. Now you're jumping on motorcycles and nearly fucking killing yourself. It's just hilarious. The mindset, the coach of this and the coach. We've got coach on top of coach on top of coach. But like you said, it's the big words. It's paying meta. It's paying this. It's paying that. It's like, man, do you know, like even this business, this podcast, you know yourself, I know why, like what I'm trying to say to you is the reason I've got you on is firstly, I'm honest, I'm tenacious, and I accept no. Like I accept yes and I accept no. I accept everything. But the quicker I know that, the quicker I move. And the quicker, and like I said, but the thing is so many people are believing like they're one or two in and they're pretending they're putting all these things in front of themselves, like they've got all these sponsors and they've got this going on. Man, I still have a coffee company. I still need to do other things. I need a variety of things going on. This, you know what I'm trying to say, to build up on this. Remember I told you had a second job, a third job. But like I said to you, these people are, like I said, using fancy words, now posing coach. But that's why I said to you, I feel like this world, it's going to explode. I think it's all going to go to shit. You're not going to have quality. And it's going to take a moment where people like yourself or others bring in the crop that blows everything away and says, this is how you do it. We need to get back to the basics. You know, this is how it's done. Like, I guess the segue we can go into is, what do you think about all these pro cards that are given out?
Well, I mean, it's a business.
Oh yeah, no. They've turned it around. They've gone from the 10% KPI, they've taken it to 1,000%. The key performance indicators are huge.
Yeah. I mean, that's one thing.
Yep.
But I got to say, where do they go? That is the biggest problem to me is, where do they go? Do they even compete? They don't compete. Like, why aren't you competing? I mean, there was a flock of you just turned pro. Why aren't you fighting to get onto the stage? Why aren't you beating down the door to get to the stage, to get to the next stage? This is only one entity of what it's all about. And are you doing it just to get more likes? And are you doing it just to get more business as far as training people, posing coaching, preparation coaching or lifestyle coaching? Is that why you're trying to get a card? That's the bigger issue to me.
That's exactly right, man. That's exactly right.
There's quality people, competitors wanting to be the best, or wanting to be get more development than the world's ever seen. Where is that?
Well, it's something like there was this mentor. I've never had a mentor or a coach, but I was I guess this guy had a group of people in, and he was telling us some stories. And what I found in success, and you did it, I didn't do it in bodybuilding, and I'm still trying to do it in business in the world. I still know there's more in me. And that's the great thing about, I guess, call it maybe entrepreneurial. And I still believe an entrepreneur is getting on his own private jet. He hasn't leased it. He hasn't hired a private jet. It's his. Like I said, I see the Richard Bransons. I see, people that run federation, the true businessmen, Dana White, all that stuff. But the thing is, I don't think anybody is willing to do the stuff that hurts the most, and that is sometimes pushing your pride to one side, pushing your ego to one side. This mentor said to me once, it was about a business deal, and he goes to all of us, you think when everyone tells you no, you're done, you've given it all. He goes, you haven't. And I said, but I have. I've tried, I've showed courage, I've showed attitude, and you know what he said? He goes, you're not even ready to go on your hands and knees to win. Until you're ready to beg, push, go to the place where it doesn't matter what they think of you, you got to humble yourself down to say, the next stage is literally pride swallowing sometimes, meaning you're going in, I need this, I want this, I need to, like I said, it's like saying, someone can ask you, Chris, would you, let's just say, coach me? And you go, let me look at you, bro. And he goes, you need to do this. And he goes, does that. And he comes back and he goes, what about now, Chris? And you go, whatever. But then he comes back to you and he goes to you, what about now, Chris? And you go, I don't know. Like something happens and he goes, no, I need you, man. I want you to coach. Like he's begging you now. That's when a champion comes.
Exactly. That's what I want. I want someone to be like, this is what I want to do. Like I have a guy that I help now. We became really close. We both Leos, so a lot of Leos stick together. Oh
yeah, stage guys. Love the stage.
So but it was like, he'd come, he stayed with me, and sometimes I'd ask him to pose at 12 o'clock at night, 1 o'clock in the morning. We were saying, let's get some posing in. It was like, but he was like, oh, when he first came to me, it was over what was the virus what's that thing called? What's the virus we had going on?
Oh, that's why no one wants to remember it. COVID.
Anyway, that thing. Yeah, it was during that time, and he was like, I really want to do this. And I'm like, yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Exactly. We'll see.
We'll see. And then, had him pose for me and stuff. I saw that, all his development was not in the right place. I had to reconstruct his whole physique to get it, comparable to what I thought would be a physique we could put on stage. So we started working. He showed me that he wanted to invest. He wanted to do whatever it took. He's willing to drive, fly, or whatever it took to keep showing up and whatever keep making it. Yeah. And then he's improved a lot. Jake Infacino, he took third this year in the nationals. He took another third at the Arnold Classic Amateur. But I feel like with his attitude and what he's bringing, that's the type of person I like to work with. Someone who's never say no to the posing rounds, whatever it takes. In the posing room is really foggy and sweaty, and you're tired, but you're willing to go. You're never willing to give up. That's the type of person I think is what you want to spend your time. Because I'm still sacrificing my time.
Yeah.
In the sport into people, which is a lot because it's all I've done for the past 30 some years, and sacrificing my time is all you really have. That's the most precious entity you have
100%.
as a human is time. And so I'm going to sacrifice my time still for people I wanted to come back tenfold.
But that's why I said maybe we're, again, around the same era. You're 1968. I'm born 1969. And are you born 1968? 67. Okay, so you're 2 years. But the thing is, 2 years older. But the thing is, we know now you can't help it. You've got wisdom. Whether you like it or not, you got wisdom. You got whether you like it or not. So you know now when you ask for something from someone, you actually just want a straight answer because you don't want to fucking waste your time. That's why I said I like the no's. I just need to know, man. Yes, no. We've got no time here. Nothing in between. Nothing in between. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like nothing in between. And that's why I said, you know, I don't think people, like I said, I mean, look, I don't want to disgruntle them, but like I said, it just seems like we've got a lot of participation awards going on and there's no one that's hungry. And Wendy Fortino, when I had on recently, you probably saw that, she said something about, I don't want to think about second place. I don't want second place. I'll deal with it at the time. But right now, all I think about is first place. I don't think about third place. I don't think about that I'm on stage and I'm happy I'm on stage. She goes, I don't think about that. She goes, I'm not happy. She goes, I'm okay whatever I come. All I think about is first. I'll deal with what happens next.
Yeah, Wendy's a great athlete.
She is.
Was an athlete from a young age. A great athlete, and you know, I got to know her recently a lot more than before.
Yes,
and I know, you know, from her track background and going to college for track and field and all the stuff that entails, and you know, all the I mean, it's a big step from high school track and field to college track and field. It's a huge thing. Just like it was in wrestling, it was like you walk in a room and it's 94 degrees because they got the heat up. And as soon as you walk in the room, you're breathing heavy and, you know, you can barely even breathe the oxygen. And then you got to train doing this thing. I've been through that. And then when to go to our matches, we can do 2 or 3 matches without even breathing because we've been so conditioned under duress that after the competition, it was nothing, you know. So I understand, you know, a lot of that hard work stuff. And I think people hear that, I had my good times too, but they don't understand the work that I put in to get there and do what I did.
Well, it shows that, but let me talk about significant challenges that you faced, you know, that people, I didn't know. Obviously, we can all talk about you having a sore back, and I know about, I know about L4 and L5. I've experienced it, but I realized, you know, core strength is very important. Bodybuilding doesn't teach you core strength as well. You need to learn core strength. You need to be doing an element of a type of Pilates because it's very important to build stability. I think it will help with posing, flexing, bodybuilding itself, you know, but you, many that won't know that in 2006, or was it in 2000? I was reading it, but prime of your career, 2006, the prime of your career, you dealt with back disc infection that made you step away from competing, but still doing one last comp in 2007, which I said to you, the Montreal, no one understands that. How could you come back from what you had in 2006 to even fucking compete in 2007? That tells me how tough you are. IFBB, and how much you love the sport, that you did 2007 IFBB Montreal Classic to come fourth. But this is what it is. You had a back injury that was very bad, that you almost became paralyzed, and apparently you needed to be induced, put in a coma.
Yeah.
And then you were put on painkillers, which I'm assuming you know what painkillers are like. They become an addictive product as well because we relied on them so much. You mentioned on the podcast with Doran Yates that I think it all stemmed going back on a trip to Amsterdam or something like that. And obviously you know, whatever you took over there in relation to, I'm assuming enhancing PEDs, whatever, you noticed that your shoulder or a bacteria had built and it had gone from a lump, that the whole bacteria had gone through your whole body, right?
Yeah.
And then that infection looked for your weakest point in your body, which was the spine, and your L4 and L5, which got worse, and got into your bloodstream, and then you were in hospital for 6 months. You're in a fucking induced coma.
Yeah, for a month and a half.
And this is where the mindset coach training starts. And now you can offer this to people because no one went through it. You were fucking losing $1,000 a week, and you're losing all your fucking sponsors. Now you're ready to train people mindset. Like how did you survive that one, Chris?
Oh my goodness, man! I went.
What happened there? That was your biggest test, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because you lost everything. You lost. You had to be put into a coma. I mean, you lost everything. I mean, here you are, and that's why. Wait a minute. Why? How the fuck did you come back in 2007 to do Montreal, which is amazing in itself? But tell me about that period.
Oh man. So it was so much pain. I couldn't move 1 inch to the left or to the right.
It's the fucking worst.
Because your central nervous system is right there, and it's all infected. And I'm turning green. Man, I just picture it when you said this. Like, I'm just under those most pain kit pills and injections that I could take before it stopped in my heart, because there was so much pain. I couldn't deal with it, even though it was right there, and I had a heart monitor showing me that, hey, it's all you can really take. I still wanted more because there wasn't enough, So I'm telling the nurse, hey, you just give me one more shot, and I won't ask you no more for tonight. More, man, because it's like, because I'm screaming, I'm screaming, I'm crying on a daily basis for months on end.
Yeah,
I had some good friends of mine that helped me. Bo and his that time his wife. They both helped me so much, and I feel like, and I was seeing people who wasn't even in the room, that was in so much pain, and talking to people and seeing people that wasn't actually there. They were telling me, I was like, man, and I wanted to kill myself, man. I wanted to just shoot myself. They said, just bring a gun. I said, I know this thing back, I'm just begging for just to end it all, because it was too much to even bear, It's like,
no one understands.
So then, and I had people come up. It was all people that I knew from internet or something like that was coming up to help or whatever. But it was just like, I couldn't, then try to get an MRI. I got claustrophobia because from wrestling, we used to have to stay in the in the sauna to lose weight, and it'd be too many of us in there. So I got this bad case of claustrophobia still to this day.
Yeah.
And so I felt the walls are coming down on me, and I was just like freaking out mentally. And I'm watching every story on the TV about a wounded athlete that never made it back, never made their full potential on a daily basis. Just a big old mind fuck the whole time.
Yeah.
I was just,
once you fall into that, yeah.
Well, that's all was on television. I felt like it was every channel back then. It was like, that's all I looked at. It's like, damn, I wanted to get out of here. And then, but the funny thing is, when I first woke up out of my coma, it was like, I thought I was still going to compete.
Yeah, that's right. You go like, yeah, are we going to the compete? Yeah.
I was like, yeah, like what? I thought I'd only been there for a few days, and like, Chris, you've been here for over a month and a half. I was like, what? I freaked out when I heard that. Yeah. I haven't used the bathroom. I haven't done nothing for over a month and a half. And it was like, just to go through that. And then, like you say, my sponsorship is what I made my living off. They're leaving left and right. And to get out of the hotel, out of the hospital, if I wanted to go to a friend's house, I needed a nurse to come and change I had a PICC line going to my heart from the antibiotics. So, and I kind of questioned, did I need that much? I don't know, it was a money grab from the hospital. But I thought one run of it, but what are you going to play with your health at that time? When it's like, so that was costing me an extra $1,000 a week just to have that done. And then toward the end, I had to go back into the hospital, but I forced my way out of the hospital, almost like someone like, no, you're not going to stop me from going. I'm going to go. And so when I went back into the hospital after forcing my way out, then I had security outside the door in case I was getting unruly or whatever. I was thinking about this. I was like, my whole life flashed in front of my eyes. I was going 100 miles an hour and then stop.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It did stop.
And not to mention, when I started, your whole system is jacked up from the pain, from the not only the antibiotics but the painkillers and everything like that. So using a bathroom and everything was like, that was not pleasant at all, because you got like cantaloupes coming out of you 3 times a day because of all the stuff you're taking in for your system, and you needed to keep doing that to stay alive, because that infection can actually kill you. What I went through can actually kill you. So
yeah.
And then I'm looking at, I haven't trained, I haven't heard music, I had taken full advantage of life in itself, to where just to have the wind in your face is a blessing. Just to smell the rubber of a gym and hear the clanking of the weights is a blessing, because when it's all taken away, you're going to miss it. You're going to miss it. I got to the point where I was able to go, and I said, hey man, I need to just go and sit in the gym just to hear it. So I had on a weightlifting belt, because I had a body cast at this time.
Wow.
My back was so fat. I felt like I'd just double over and can't control myself. I'd feel like that. But I got to the point where I could, I took a train, which was paying hell. I'm in a body cast. I said, just get me out of here. It's just I need to see something else. And so I'm in the hood up in New York City. And I'm got to walk each day, because they said, hey, you got to walk to that point. So that was to coming back, I had to walk each day, and that was my thing. And I couldn't put on my shoes. I couldn't do nothing like that, but I had to try to move, Then I started working on rubber bands, trying to start some kind of blood into my arms, and it was crazy.
I know that. I know. I've had a disc swelling in L4 and L5, and mate, and the pain, and when it strikes you, you could be crossing the road, and if an 18-wheeler's coming, you can't fucking move. You're going. You just can't move. It's going to take you out. Like, you're crossing the road, and that spine gets hit by the nerve somehow that gets touched. You not only do you shut down, it doesn't matter what's coming. You can't even lift the foot. You're waiting for that moment for it to suppress down, like to calm down a little bit, and forget it. The truck's taking you out. Like, you're not going anywhere. He can honk horns. You say, fuck it, take me out, bro. But just like I said, but the thing was, in 2006, that's why when I went through, let me just move the mic there. In 2006, that's why I said, that's when
things slowed down.
So what are you talking about? There was relatively nothing in 2006. You went from 2005, Francisco Pro International, and Chris is off the planet. Chris is not around in 2006. You know what I mean? Like, it's amazing. And the thing is, it's kind of like your swan song was, I guess, maybe Montreal Pro Classic. But do you think, did a lot of things change? Like the Amsterdam situation, the comp on top of comp, And the moment you wanted to take, like you said, just take me out. I don't want to live anymore. I don't want to be. Like, what changed? What did you learn looking back at that? Because you do smell the roses. You do take walking down the street without pain. You go, oh, look how nice the trees look. Look how nice the air smells. Like, everything changes. Like, even your perspective on love, perspective on your assets, your all that shit stuff. Like, it's not shit. Like, I'm talking about, like, looking at everything, maybe even your entourage, everything, your life, maybe in direction, losing sponsors, doubling down now. What did you think after that?
Well, I mean, like the entourage stuff started, as I got a little older into 2004 and 5 and stuff like that, that all dwindled down. That was all because people started leaving because, different things, But that got less and less as I got older. That was more like the early 2000s.
Yeah.
So the last 3 years or so, it just got less and less and less and less. So then, but when all this happened, man, it just, I even read something this morning. It's just like, which just reminds me that people think that they have tomorrow. People who actually pass away today, the day that we're speaking right now, they thought they had something to do next week. They thought they had something to do actually the next day.
They did.
And they don't have it. They don't get it. They never see it. And just going back to the thoughts of what I could have done physically, even more so, it's not about am I working out? It's about am I doing the absolute most I can do to achieve what I'm set out to achieve long ago.
Yeah.
And where it came to when I trained with Doran, I was ready for it mentally. I was ready for it because I was at the end of my ropes. I was 43 at the time. So, But when you're 25 and you think, I know I'm smart, I'm a champion already. It just made me feel like you have to take right now and today and do what you can today, and don't try to think you're going to live for the future when the future's not promised.
We're the same age, do you feel like, I don't know about you, but I look around at the moment at people in their 80s and 70s and I think, is this it? Is this where we're fucking heading? Like, are you serious? These people are bow-legged or they're fucking bent over, gravity's pushing them down and also dementia, Alzheimer's.
Yeah.
And the thing is, for me, and I said to Chris, I've got a few things that people say to me, get rid of them, like motorcycles and cars. And I say to them, I will, but let me drive them and ride them now because I won't be able to put my leg over them when I'm 80. I can only get my leg over them now. Like, I fucking can do it now. And let's just quickly segue for a second. I know, I've got 5 BMXs. I've got 5 BMXs. I know you're into BMXs, man. I got 2 mongooses. I got some other, I forgot what the other ones are. And even at 56.
Did you race before?
No, man. I was just a fat kid. That rode the cheapest. I'll tell you a little bit about me with BMXs. We were a simple family, just a white picket fence family. So for me to have a BMX, I built it. And how did I build it? Some of the rich kids got new parts and I took their parts. So I had a bike, a BMX that had sometimes even the handlebars, the crossbar on the handlebar was broken. Didn't matter. They were great handlebars. The bike was a different color every week. It was black, it was blue, it was red. I was spray painting all the time, right? The pegs, like just everything about the BMX. So I think I was in my 40s and I didn't even know there was BMX clubs still around, right? And I said, I'm going to fucking get myself a fucking good BMX, right? So I bought a mongoose with tough twos. You know tough twos? Got tough twos on it. It's fucking mongoose. Or I should bring it out and show you. It's here. you'll fucking die, right? You know what? I'm going to show you my BMX. Stay there. Stay there.
I'm going to get something too. I'm going to show you something real quick.
Do it, man. Do it. All right. You're back.
Here is a few that I just had in the garage.
Yeah. You were I heard on Doran Yates you were a BMX. So you actually competed, didn't you?
Oh yeah, I would have. I wanted to be a professional bicycle racer before bodybuilding, and I was in school, and I'd start racing, and then because the kid in school was racing, and I had a Diamondback.
Yeah.
And then I eventually bought me a GT Pro.
Yeah.
I built it from scratch, but I'd buy the sprocket. And
yeah, of course.
Certain size sprocket. I had it was a chrome. I had the whole get up, the pants, the everything. Yeah. And I rode, motorcycles also, motocross, but I love bicycle motocross. So I'm racing out of town 2 nights a week on a school night and go to school the very next day because I want to be a professional. That's when I was my wrestling. I set aside the wrestling and everything to dedicate myself to be a pro BMX racer. And I had a gate in my backyard my father built. Wow. So I'm doing a standing gate, practicing. And then, I started crashing a lot one day. And then my wrestling coach said, "Hey, Chris, why don't you come back and try wrestling again?" And because I went to go, to watch my brother wrestle. And then I put it down for a little bit and I got back into wrestling. That's why I got my scholarship through wrestling. But
let me show you my bike. Let me show you one of them.
All right.
Chris is going to muck around with the camera. See if I can make it work.
Okay.
All right. See if I don't ruin the whole set. 1 second. Look at this, man. Check this out. 1 second. I'm probably going to make it like I said, it's going to be crazy.
The helmet here?
Mate, don't worry about it.
Oh, that's awesome.
Look at this.
Got the rims on it. Got the.
Look at 1 second. Let's put it up on the table, Chris.
That's awesome, man.
Look at that, man. Huh? Mongoose, bro. Tough twos. Huh?
That's awesome.
Huh? Look at it. Like if I take the helmet off, the whole thing swivels around. 1 sec. Let me just get this off. Look at this, man. Look at this. You can do tricks on this thing. Look at it.
Man, I haven't seen that stuff in so long.
Look at that. Look at the pegs on here. Look at the pegs down here.
I saw that, dude.
This is one of my, and that's what I'm saying is when I turned 40, I said, "Fuck, I never had a good BMX." And I said, I went and got one, and then I got 2, and I got 3, and then I went riding on BMX rides throughout the city. We had Vivid, we had Halloween, and guys meet down in the city, and we just go riding at night with all the lights on, and we do pub crawls with the BMXs.
Wow.
Yeah, so
that's cool, man.
I'll tell you a funny story as well. I'm a guy with funny stories. I'll tell you a funny story.
Did you do all the art behind you too, or no?
No, I bought it. I'm a bit of a collector. I collect cars, motorcycles, BMXs, art, and girls. That's all I collect.
All right. The only important stuff.
Only the important stuff. But having said that, I met this girl. She's gorgeous, right? She's gorgeous, and she's coming down to Sydney. I don't even know if it was the first time or second time she's my girlfriend, but I just met her. And one of my mates said, "Hey, we've got a BMX ride on Saturday night." And I went, "Come on, you've got to come along." And I said, "Oh, maybe this girl would want to come with me." So I said, "Hey, if I organise one of my BMXs, you want to come for a ride?" And she said, "Yes." I said, "Okay." I said, "Is she going to be able to ride a fucking BMX?" And she did, and we put a few things together. I should show you the yellow one. You'll die on the fucking yellow one. White tires on it too, man. You'll die. But Chris is going to die if I bring it out again. Because he's going to ruin the set. But the thing was, no joke. Do you know how many people come on these rides? 270 BMXers. Yeah. 200. Yeah. And yes, it's predominantly guys, but we have about, I don't know, 10, 20 girls come along. So she came along, and she's this gorgeous, she's like a California type girl, blonde hair, beautiful, gorgeous, right? So I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm going to have to wrestle all these fucking BMX guys. I'm going to fucking be smashing BMX guys while I'm riding, But I didn't have to. That's just being exaggerating a bit. But she, I took a girl, I think it was on my first date for a BMX ride, man. I said, fuck, if you can come on a BMX ride, you can hang around.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, this is, like I said, that's why I mentioned about BMXs, and you said skateboards and stuff like that.
And a gamer.
And a gamer. I've never been a gamer. But you know what? Since we're talking about significant moments, and, we're going to wipe the laughter off a minute, because it's about you, man. It's about your life. But you mentioned that I'm just 1 second. I read that one. That you faced another significant moment, right? And you were explaining that to Doran Yates, and it was, I think, when you went to Mexico one time. Is that right? Or was that no, that wasn't it. I'm just trying to look. Yeah. And it was about your blood sugar level, and you had a seizure in Mexico or something like that, right, and they got the ambulance in. Everything went black. Hear me out, and you can define it and describe it more. But this is the bit I wanted to talk about a little bit. But you literally thought you passed away because you saw your grandmother.
Yeah.
And then you saw your brother, who, unfortunately, this is the bit that made me very sad and probably built character in you as well, who had suicided. But you saw them both standing behind you, and you reached out to your grandmother, and she said, "Chrissy, it's not your time." And then you woke up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tell me about that story. That I was sorry, I didn't do it justice, because I wrote a lot, but I just crammed it down, and you can tell us more about it.
Well, I was doing a tour in Mexico. I had 2 months. I was 8 weeks out from the Olympia.
Yep.
Just came off my 99 Olympia showing, 3rd place, and I felt like that was my time to win.
Yeah.
I did I was 282 pounds, and I was lean, and I was good. I still had 8 weeks to go, and I was in full control of being my absolute best. I was going to be better than I was 99, and you saw how 99 went.
Yeah.
I was going to be better. And, there are certain times when you make a decision in life where you take a right turn or a left turn.
Yeah.
Either way is going to get you where you want to go, but you decide to take a right turn. And then that right turn may just as well lose your life on. That turn may progress you on to another 50 years.
Yep.
But that's how fragile, life is. And I decided I had all my stuff with me. I had got some growth hormone. I got some different stuff that I needed to in my preparation for the show. And I was leaving in about another 5 days. And I had too much stuff with me. My decision to take more growth hormone, because I didn't want to throw it all away,
yes,
was detrimental to the first catastrophic situation that depleted, my dreams of becoming. I just wanted to see how good I can be, and it brought me from that to like I did my last show. I mean, I left there. I gave the shirt off my back. I even left giving my shirt to the fans. I took a photo with every single person that was in Mexico City. And that night, when I went to lay down, I remember having this feeling like I needed carbs. I must have took some insulin or something. Like I needed carbs like right now. It was no joke. I never felt this before. And I went, it was like 4 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning. I remember running downstairs to try to see if the kitchen was open. The kitchen wasn't open yet. Then I turn, I look, and I see, some drinks, trying to get some Coca-Cola, something. Went back to my room, and then it calmed down a little bit, but it came back stronger. Where I just like, everything just went black. I guess my interpreter that was standing next door to me, she had a key to my room. She heard me making a lot of noise, so she came in there, and I had foam coming out of my mouth. I was gyrating, shaking, and they called the ambulance, and they were just telling me, hey, hang on. And then they came into the room. I just remember vaguely because everything was foggy and I could barely see, but I could hear people talking. And it was like they tried to lift me and they couldn't lift me. Like it was some little Mexican guys that wasn't going to be able to lift 200 pounds. Nah. 200 dead weight. That's a total different thing, So
unless they're part of a cartel, but no.
Yeah, I just remember them saying, Chris, if you don't walk out of here, you're gonna die.
Yeah. I think I remember you saying that. Yeah.
And I was just like, I remember giving it everything I had to get up, and while I was still staggering, I couldn't really walk. So I had a person on either side. And I even met people that were there years later that told me they saw me coming out of the hotel. I remember everything was blurry, and I was just walking as best I could. And then I remember I sat in the back of the ambulance. They took me to the hospital, but I just remember getting an ambulance. I don't remember anything else. But then I started to come to, and everything was white. And I was just like, I'm in heaven. And then I saw over in the distance, these two people. One was sitting, I remember my grandmother, she always used really sit with her back really straight. She would like sit up, and she was like looking at me, and the person behind her, it was a blurry face, but he had the height of like my brother, but his face was marked dark. You couldn't see it, but you could see her clear as possible, clear as day. And I went to touch her, and she went, Chrissy. She called me Chris with a C on the end because she always called me that Chrissy. It's like, it's not your time. And then I remember I just touched her hand. I was like, cool. And then I'm like, cool, right? It's not my time. And I remember turning and walking away. And that's when I woke up. And when I woke up, I saw a cross on the wall. and I was just like, there was a cross, and it was like 4 nurses on my right. And they were all dressed in white. So I thought they were angels, Yeah. So I just look over, and then at the end of all the angels was this one that was crying, and she started telling me what happened. And then that was my interpreter. And that's when I was like, oh, I felt like I know I was on the other side, But then, it became, of course I was bawling in tears, and I ain't even gonna lie. And I was just like, oh my God. So then they're feeding me and trying to have me hooked up to this, get my blood sugar and everything under control. A few days later, they took it out, and everything plummeted. went right back.
Oh my God.
Put it back in, and then I spent a few more days till everything subsided. Like it really tried to kill me, you know. And then when I tell people, hey, you don't want to take that much growth hormone, you don't want to take 18 IUs. I had people literally tell me, oh no, I know what I'm doing. Oh, okay. And then slowly but surely they're not doing that no more, because that's not the thing to do. It's not even close to the thing to do. That will tear you up. And you know, the little bits is gonna be better always on everything. I learned that at an early age, but I knew for a fact that you know, I dodged the bullet. The bad thing that happened is when I left there and was coming home, you know, a lot of my money was missing, ironically. So I went home for like 4,000. I had like 15,000 that was missing out of my, which is fine. You know, I took it as a learning lesson. You know, I went to Cancun for a couple of days just for some R&R. Then I went back home. When I went home, I was looking at 6 weeks out from Olympia, 4 weeks out from Olympia, something like that, 6 weeks out. And I was like, should I do the Olympia?
Wow.
And I'm thinking, I don't know what's exactly wrong with me. I didn't understand what I actually did. I knew later on, after reading the pamphlet and everything, you know, how it can affect your blood sugar with excessive amounts of growth hormone, all this stuff. But at the time, I thought something was actually wrong with me. Maybe. I'm not sure. I'm just trying to play it safe. I got advised to do the show anyway because I was in shape already. I was definitely going to make a lot of money. And that's the year that Ronnie Coleman came in his worst look ever.
Oh.
And that's the year that the door was wide open for me to look is like better than I did in 99. And I could have won it in the year 2000. And I ended up not doing the show. So I sat in the audience watching the show.
I remember you saying that to Doran, yeah.
Yeah, and Ronnie was not looking like he would never be able to touch me at that. He was too big. He was trying to be too heavy.
Yeah.
And then I would have beat him, and I would have beat Kevin. Kevin took second that year, I believe. And that was my opening right there to be Mr. Olympia. I know for a fact the way I would have lost. And then I said, okay, I'm going to do the Arnold Classic. I'm going to win that thing in 2001. And we had the same coaches, myself and Ronnie.
Yep.
And I said, you know, let Ronnie, because they were saying that, oh, Ronnie's going to be 300 pounds next time. And this and that. I said, okay, let Ronnie be 300 pounds. I'm going to go lighter. I'm going to go 245 pounds and make him look like a balloon up there.
Yeah, yeah.
Said that out loud. So obviously it got back to Ronnie that I'm going to go in lighter and try to make him look like that. Yeah. So he went from that Olympia to the next Arnold Classic and chiseled all the way down to the 240 some pounds also.
Yeah, should have kept it quiet.
So that gave him his best look ever in his life. One Arnold Classic. But then and I've done 10 Arnolds and 10 Olympias, right?
Yeah.
So by doing that, I know for a fact you're in the deep water now, because to turn it all around and put it all on the stage again, you may or may not make the shape that you need to be in for the Olympia as you were at the Arnold. I know it's very hard to do, and a lot of people don't do it because of that. And a lot of people who try it, they see that it's not easy to re-peak within that time. And that's why I thought even this year with Lunsford going up against Sampson, that might play a key role in the decision of who was going to be able to win. I think some of it was just that, you know.
In relation to, do you think Sampson, that was you knew there was more in Derek but there was not any more really in Samson. Meaning, I'm not saying that he couldn't come in more. He just could. But could he hold on to that holding pattern? That's what I'm saying. Could
so that's the thing. That's the thing. And he went on a lot of tours.
Yeah.
He did a lot of tours after that.
Yeah, of
when
course.
I got a call.
Sponsors make some money now, cash in.
But he, also himself.
Yeah.
And let's just face it, you just got fed a big fat check.
Yeah.
You got fed a big fat check.
Yeah, ribs are cheaper now. Ribs aren't as expensive as it was.
But does that make you hungry? Or does that make you...
Okay.
And I knew Derek had nothing but up because he came down so far and was so flat. And I said from the start.
Did you take on Derek? You took on Derek, didn't you?
Well, yeah, I went out there 3 different times. I went out there 3 different times to help him.
Because there was a clip on social media that said that, you can correct me if I'm wrong, that you were going to coach him. Yeah?
He called me to come and help him, and
Good.
I said...
I liked it. I was wondering. I said, wow, what's going on here? Yeah.
I laid out the plan.
Yeah.
Was increase the definition in his quads, improve his abdominal, his ab and thigh shot, improve his chest development. Just the way he was previously training before, I knew he wasn't doing the exact things that I was going to ask him to do. And it was going to improve his posing also, and improve these shots, the ab and thigh shot, the chest shot, the side tricep shot, and the most muscular. And I thought, with that being said, Samson has not been one who's been peaking every time perfectly. And to come from Olympia to that Arnold Classic, it was going to be double hard to make that same peak. And so when I first said, I think that Derek can pull the upset, people lost their minds. They said, oh, he's old, he's delusional, he's biased just because he went out there, blah, blah, blah. Did I want more out of Derek? Yes, I wanted more. I wanted more than what we did. I wanted more posing. I wanted more hard training. When I first went out, there was a clip of him staggering from one machine to the next machine. That's what I wanted. And he has more to give, and he can even show more of what he is capable of, even more so than what is out there right now. And I thought, and so for 2 months straight, people flooded the comments with how I'm the most delusional person, I'm crazy, he must be high, or oh yeah, he just buys, forget, laughing. And then when it all happened, and then when to hear the head judge or to hear Tyler Mannion read off exactly what I said 2 months ago, exactly to the T, why he won.
Exactly
that. 2 months, just because I know bodybuilding and I know what it takes and I know how the human body works and I know what a person is not doing or displaying on the stage if they displayed that. And then all of a sudden Derek wins the posing round at the Arnold Classic also. That's $510,000.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
Even though
I think you're going.
Even though he didn't really give me my due as far as like, yeah, Chris, you fucking helped me, dude. He didn't put it out there like that, which is fine. But the real ones know what I did. Yeah. In a short time, I was saying, from one training session, his ab and thigh is going to be improved. And I spoke about that. It's all on tape. And
let me
and one more thing, and to have that out there and that shown, it's not like I was getting paid. I went out there, I was flown out there, but I took care of my food mostly and the hotel. So I invested a lot of my personal time to make that happen.
Well, the thing,
agents.
Look, firstly, let me just say this. I think that was Derek's best shape, even when he won Olympia. The Arnold's was his best shape.
Oh, yeah.
He outdid his number one Olympia, right? There's no doubt. And I think as well, you know, like I said, that is his best shape ever. Even when he won Olympia, that shape outdid everything. Look,
Right.
Vision Attire, premium Australian active wear for men and women, including comp day wear for all male divisions. Their men's physique shorts are tailored for the stage with quick dry fabric and a cut that brings out your taper. Visit visionattire.com.au and use code MUSCLETALKS for 20% off your order.
you know, I was going to say, and this has got nothing to do with Derek. He speaks like he's a very religious person, and I like that's cool, and faith and all that. But this got nothing to do with Derek, what I'm going to say next. But I'm just saying this industry is full of bloody scabs. Everyone's a fucking scab. And everyone just wants to take things for free. And everyone wants to not give recognition even when you do give for free, which astounds me that if I made you pay me, you'd mention my name, but I made you not pay me and you won't mention my name, which is fucking crazy. And me and Chris realized that
it goes on.
It goes on, yeah. No, because me and Chris we just saw it early on in our podcast. We were giving away things. Trust me, the only time they respect you is when you're a fucking hard businessman and when you fucking say you pay. Or not pay. You be honest. You be No, there's pay. There's pay.
You don't go to Mercedes and expect to get something for free.
No.
Not even on sale.
No, 100%. But you know what? A guy told me once a long time ago, he said to me, he got me a job in the coffee game. He put me with this coffee company. And I went in and I was that good that I intimidated the owner. Like I intimidated him, that he sacked me. He sacked me. And he didn't even pay me my commission. And I went to the guy that told me to go get the job. And it's a relative of his. And he goes to me, Steve, I'm sorry. I gave him a Lamborghini and he wanted to treat you like a fucking Toyota. Like the guy fucking didn't work it out, did he? It's his loss. Like the guy still said, I saw you as a Lamborghini. I offered you as a Lamborghini. He just didn't see the Lamborghini. Like, you know what I mean? So in this sport, I'm not saying, like I said to you, people go, yeah, I'll look after you. This is what I'm trying to say. It's not about money. Yeah, I'll pay you. Yeah. But they don't fucking deliver any of that. But what I find is the ones that deliver something when you never asked for it, that delivered the truth and they gave everything they have, and it's just not just money as well. Like I said to you, this industry needs to learn not to take, but to give and to balance the books. You've got to balance the books in this industry. And like I said to you, with Chris Cormier TV and all the stuff you're doing, I'll be honest with you, you're 5%, if not 1% of bodybuilders since the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000, 2010, 2020s. How many greats, bigs, first places, but they can't still work and build careers and businesses in the industry. This is an art. It's an art to be the long game and be like commentators in sport. They were the best. How many commentators? There's only 5 commentators. There's only 10 people in the game. That's what I'm saying to you, is to be this good and to be in it, it's because you are good. You're the 1%.
Right. I believe so.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So I'm just saying to you that, but I realized that you were mentioned and you were doing something with him because I saw it. I was, maybe when you do say it, it was clear to me that there wasn't mention of you, even though I heard it I didn't hear it.
Right.
And I didn't hear it post. But at the end of the day, I'm not thinking that, I mean, there's a lot of hoo-ha going on and a lot of people running at Derek at the moment and sponsors and a lot of delicious things being shown. But I think, like I said to you, sometimes and the reason what you did, the reason you know what you achieved with him is the reason you are where you are today. That's why you're successful, not just a businessman, but that's why you're successful in this career. You've got the long game. You're looking at bodybuilding not just today. You're looking in 5 years' time where your brand is. You're just Chris. You're Chris Cormier. You're the real deal. No one's got that. No one's got the real deal. No one's got a documentary. No one's got what you got. No one done the comps you've done. No one survived the pain you did. No one's got a fucking BMX. No one's everything you touched, BMX, wrestling, motocross, bodybuilding, and this business. And firstly, with this business, you're not done yet. I know that. But what I'm trying to say to you is you always took it to the top of the game, or you pushed it as far as you could. And I'm gonna let you know, I'm not gonna put myself down. What I'm trying to say is that's what makes greats. I'm not gonna say that's not me. What I'm getting at is, but it is me in a sense of business. But that's what makes greats. That's what makes people, your name, you, known all around the world. We can go back and talk about many bodybuilders, but they don't know everyone's name. They don't know everyone what they did or what they've done. But you've, like I said, sealed it down by, like you said, you don't need to mention my name. I'll make sure you know who I am as I keep going in this industry. They'll forget your name for not mentioning my name, but they'll always know my name. Does that make sense? So I think I said that well. Don't ask me to repeat it. I'm not going to repeat it at all. But
that's awesome.
No, thanks, man. I mean, don't ask me to repeat it. I don't think I can ever say that again. I'm just going through quickly some of the questions that I had. Out of all the competitions you did and all the memories, what's a standout? What's one of your favorites? What's a favorite standout memory? Everything you've done.
Couple, just getting the validation of my hard work at different times, when in the USA, when everything was on the line to quit if I didn't win.
Yeah.
Go a different direction if I didn't win. When I pressured myself to be this person, I was willing to, you mentioned before how are you willing to be on your hands and knees?
I've done it many times.
I was willing to go to Venice, sleep in my car for a couple of days so I had more money to eat instead of putting in a hotel.
Yeah.
I was willing to do that before it all. And that top 3 at the Olympia, when I said before the, months before the show, I said, I'm going to be top 3. I'm going to be top 3 after never being in that spot. Like that was something that meant a lot.
And tell me, you grew up in Palm Springs, California, and we all know or seem to believe that that's the top of the tops, but there's a north end called 790 Gateway Drive, right? And apparently,
where I grew up.
Yeah, and apparently, and you got, I think you could have been a gangster if you wanted to be a gangster. And
it was right to do whatever I wanted to do as far as
I think
or because that was my interest at first, That was my,
and because you had a love affair with sports, you couldn't show that off. So you still had to stay in your gangster clothes. You had to act the gangster. You had to pretend you're the gangster, but really, there was something about sport. But if you spoke,
I got a D in PE to prove it.
By getting a D in PE because you didn't want to be soft. You didn't want to act soft. I know.
So I had focus sacks in my khaki suit every day.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to take that off to wear some shorts.
No way.
Yes.
No way.
But I also grew up in the same town as a famous boxer, Timothy Bradley.
Yep.
his dad was my training partner when I was very young, 14, 15 years old.
And you guys needed idols, and you wanted to be an idol as well. You thought, to get the fuck out of here, I have to show them, but they'll respect that if I get out of here. And which go on with this boxer.
So Tim Bradley and I grew up in the same neighborhood. He's a commentator for ESPN to this day. But we all grew up in that same neighborhood, and I think we had a choice to stay doing the same thing or going after something. And he was actually, his father was training him from the time he was born up until he became champion. As far as he was doing all the sit-ups and all the push-ups and all the running. From 5 years old, I remember him. I remember him when he was born, actually, because I remember him going to the hospital. We were leaving a training session. We used to train in this house. We called it the dungeon at the time. And then we started training at the park, me and his dad. And but when he was born, and then on watching him all the years, just come from the same neighborhood, two people that, we made our mark on our sports is pretty amazing, because we could walk to each other's house, so it was great though. I still go back, and I still got friends there and stuff, but I knew when I left to go to Venice to compete and to be a bodybuilder, that's when my mother said, hey, if you want to be a bodybuilder, you need to go and be where they are. And at the time that was Venice Beach, California.
Well, your mum was your first sponsor, $2,500, mate.
Yeah.
And now I'm just going to let you know, back then, $2,500, and I'm assuming you weren't with an affluent family. Your mum, man, you're very lucky. Fuck. And that's a lot of money and a lot of belief, and your first sponsor. That was big, man. That was big. No one understands that. I understood when I read it. When I read that your mum, who probably couldn't spare the money, didn't have all that.
Not all the time. Sometimes she'd be like, hey, this is a light bill, but I'm willing to give it to you.
Fuck, that's what I'm saying to you. That's a lot. Not many people give away that. Trust me, when they've got to feed the family, put a roof over their head, and send you with some kind of trust that she's handing you this money because you believe in yourself, but she believes in you more. So, wow.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. No. What was your mum like?
Man, she was the strongest lady. I mean, put it this way, she was so giving, so loving, and I was her baby.
Yeah.
The last son. She was too nervous to go watch me compete, but she was fully behind me.
My mum was like that too. She was too nervous to watch me play soccer or do anything. And you played soccer as well, by the way. But that's
not soccer. But I played football.
Football. That's right. Sorry, NFL. Yeah.
But if let's say she died from cancer, and she I remember this as a show of strength. She was like, I had a silly little, wasn't even much. It was nothing. It was like I was on my way to China when I first heard that she had cancer, and I was willing to come home. I said, no, Chris, keep doing what you're doing. I'll see you when you get back. But then on her deathbed, I had a seminar to do, and she heard me talking about it. And I was like, no, I'm not going to go. She was like, son, go to the seminar. And I was like, Mom, it's stupid. It's little. It's nothing. She said, son, I'll be here when you get back. She said, go. So I went to LA, did a seminar, came back, and then I drugged my feet to go and talk to her after that, because I knew she was just hanging on barely. And I said, hey, Mom, I'm okay. You can rest. And she died that day.
Yeah, like they're special people, man. Those people. We just to tell you about my mum. She had motor neuron disease, and so it was basically she was going to die like in a year, right? And I remember I went to a seminar too up in the Gold Coast, and I knew she wasn't well. And when I came back, I walked in the room, I sat next to her, and I just started crying. I just started crying, bawling my eyes out. Like I said, I can't believe I went to this seminar. Like, I can't believe I went, and look at you, you're in bed here. And she just said to me, like, she's telling me she's all right. She goes, no, it's okay. Why are you crying? I said, what do you mean? Why I'm crying? I'm not here with you. Like, I'm here gallivanting around doing shit, and you're not well, and I should be here. And she's still, like your mum was thinking about you and you doing what. And to be honest, Chris, I hope I'm like that with my kids. I hope I tell them, go and get your stuff. Don't worry about me. I'll go to sleep. If I'm going to die or whatever's going to happen, just go for it. Like, and I think that's what your mum wanted you to do. And what my mum wanted me to do was like, I've accepted my fate. You don't have my fate. You need to go do what you need to do. Let me still support you to the last breath. So,
right.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, that's, like I said, I mean, when they talk about women and they try to make us guys feel like we don't care about women, they're crazy, man. Without our mums, without women like that, good women, like that's what makes us. Well, that's how we win things. That's how we do things, man. You said you came 13th because of a bad relationship. That's what they do as well.
Yeah.
That's what they do as well.
Easy.
Yeah, that's what they do as well. They make you lose. They make you lose as well, man. A few more things, and then I'll let you go because you give me so much of your time, and we've gone everywhere. But I know that you mentioned Joe Weider, and you know you got to meet him, and it was great. But sometimes you felt like Joe Weider. You said this on Doran and Yates podcast that sometimes Weider might have not acted like he had influence for the competitions, but he seemed to have influence. And I think there was a moment where you heard who was it? One of the judges or one of the promoters. Was it Gunter ends up at Joe's house posing for him, and before you know it, you know.
I was pissed.
You're pissed off. What happened there, you thought? And
because
after the pre-judging in the lobby, you had a go at him, at everyone.
Yeah, because we're in Europe. I was when you read, I took second in Amsterdam at the Holland show. Yeah, I took second behind Ronnie, and Dexter was in the show also, and we're heading to New Orleans for that show, GNC. But when we were in the Holland, the person at the time, Wayne D'Amelia, got a call from Joe, and he said, he was saying how raving about the way Gunther looked, and he's at his house there, and he was posing for him, which is not unusual. But at the time, when you're on the road and doing multiple competitions, and then you got to go and compete against a guy that you heard is at Joe's, and then I don't know if it actually happened that way, but he was like, Joe thinks he should be in the first call out, and I was just like, what the fuck? I was like, how in the hell am I coming from multiple shows in Europe? I'm going to come back to New Orleans and compete against this guy who's sitting there waiting for us to come off of all these plane rides and all his foreign food and everything. And then he was in good shape. I give him that. He was in very good shape. But I don't feel he had the symmetry. At the time, the symmetry around and stuff like that belonged to either myself or Flex or something like that. I think I was in the first place after the first round, even in front of Ronnie. Ronnie was a little off from all the trips. He wasn't that great in Holland, if you ask me. But he's a big cat. He's hard to beat anyway. So going there, and then they had Gunther in the middle in the second round, and I was like, you know, after the prejudging going to the night show, they said that Gunther was possibly winning or ahead by 2 or something like that. And so I went off on him. I said him and his wife was in the lobby, and I was like, don't tell me you deserve to win the damn symmetry round or whatever. I don't know. I mean, I think I was second up. It was something. I was pissed off about the symmetry round, and I was like pissed off that he's in the first call out, because he's never been in a first call out. But, you know, in hindsight, he was in great condition. You know, I'll give him that. And, but he'd never beat any one of us. He was always getting like an invite to the Olympia or something like that. He's never earned his way in my eyes at that time. So, yeah, so I was kind of pissed off about that. So I was yelling at him and his wife. Like, yeah, so Chris, you always placing well. What, you know, I said, yeah, because I'm fucking good. That's why. It's not because, you know, someone handed me anything. No one handed me shit.
Yeah, you know? Yeah. I know. Yeah, like I said, I love it, but I love it when I mean, that's what competing is about. It's about the sparks and the fire. Apparently, you said as well, which I didn't know, that I think, I don't know if it was as well, you probably somewhere around your era too, but it is around, where Tom Platz was going to do his own federation. I think they were trying to run a rebel league or something like that. Is that right? They were trying to sign up some people, and then that's when Whiter put his money up or something like that. Something started.
Oh, that was the WBF.
What was that?
That was the WBF. That was Vince McMahon had this league that he was. Oh. So it was like when we were coming up, we had like.
Oh, Vince McMahon was looking, sniffing it. Yeah.
IFBB, are you going to go with WBF?
Yes.
You know, you have choice of leagues to go to now, and then everyone's scrambling trying to sign people. I was training also with Gary Stridham at the time, who went to WBF.
Ah, that's what, yeah.
Gave him, you know, $250,000, $500,000 or something like that to sign with them.
That's big.
Yeah, it was, especially back then. That was really big.
Very big. That would get you a couple of houses. Yeah. That would get you a couple of houses. Yeah. And also, obviously, Vince McMahon must have really seen something that he thought there's money in this. Yeah.
Yeah, and he loved the sport too. And so a few guys went to the WBF, and the rest went to the IFBB and whatever sprinkled down to another federation. Or so after that, and then, you know, I was there for a short time, but, you know, I did have my eyes on the IFBB, and I was with the NPC since I was a teenager, so that was a natural thing I wanted to do, because that was more like a show thing. It wasn't like hardcore competition type of stuff, you know.
Okay, so tell us, was it all sex, drugs, and rock and roll? Well, how big was it? Tell us how big it was. Was it really the white doves, the ecstasy? Come on, man. Well, how big was it? Because bodybuilding is a funny game, because we think we won't drink beer, we'll just do MDMAs. Like, that's what we go. We don't want to have all the carbs of the beers. We don't want the sugars of the spirits. We don't want this, but we've got great bodies. The girls like to touch it. Let's be real here. We have an ego. Well, some of us do. It seems like many bodybuilders are asleep at the wheel, but it just seems like you weren't. It seems like you knew you had a package, and that package involves sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Tell me, Chris. Come on, because I used it at times. You know.
I mean, the thing is, you know, I used to hang out, you know, as you know, before I turned pro, I was going to clubs. I was going to clubs before I was even working at a club. I was going to clubs days a week.
And we trained with the clubs. Yeah. With the tequila shots and with everything going on.
Well, when I was 19, 20, and 21, I was living in Palm Springs, and I was doing work for the Gold's Gym in place for my So they gave me a free membership. So I would go in these clubs and I'd pose in the clubs, and then it became like a thing I would do around town there. And I never paid a membership as a young guy. And then when I came to live in Los Angeles, I was still going out dancing. I enjoyed that because I used to work in security since from an 18 and up club.
Yep.
So the nightlife was always a part of, something I just did. But nothing became a problem, or nothing became real noticeable about my life, my personal life, until 1999 came around. But I was still doing all these different things, or going out whenever I wanted to. No one really.
Well, you coincided it well with Prince's song, 1999, man. Like, great song. It's a great song.
Did security for Prince for those 3 years that I worked at Roxbury.
Cut it out. We could talk for another hour.
Yeah.
All right. Wow, Prince. Yes, go on.
The town, and also Milli Vanilli, and
no way, girl. You know it's true. Ooh, ooh, I love you. You know what's what's a great Prince song? I know you're a smooth operator. You know the one, I want to be your lover. I want to make you scream and shout. I want you to holler my name, or something like that. Like, fuck, there was some good lyrics in that, man. Prince. Yes.
Yeah. So when I would have my downtime, that's what the thing is about downtime, my off season, whatever like that. I would go out, multiple times per week, even coastal, worldwide.
Oh yeah.
I'm in Greece. I'm in New York. I'm in LA. I'm in Palm Springs. Hawaii, Texas, wherever. And sometimes it'll be like, oh, let's go to Vegas. Let's go hang out in Vegas, whatever. But the thing is, people misconstrued that with that's deterring away from my career. And it wasn't like that. I was, even as a turning pro, I'm up 5 days a week in the club. You're still up and in the club. It was never something that was hard on me because I grew up that way. Right. But people take it as, it's the day of the show. It's the night before the show. It was never that. And people took that and ran with it and made it seem like that's the reason why I didn't win Olympia, when it's not.
Right.
It's totally different,
So when you're on, and when you're not on, yeah, go on.
It was never a part of anything that I did as far as like any drug use. That was 2 years of my life. It wasn't my whole career. That was this part of my life. My career was like this.
Right. Yeah. Right. Like everything. Yeah.
And it was that. But people say that's what it's like in my neighborhood. That was not something you did. That was people I became around when I lived in Los Angeles. That was never a thing. No one in my whole neighborhood would even put me 2 and 2 together with something like that. It wasn't that.
Well, they, I guess, quietly you say you're a shy guy. You're relatively shy, but they make you sound like you're this extrovert, extravagant.
I was both.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Okay.
Because I'm a Leo.
Yeah. My daughter's a Leo. I know Leos. My daughter's a Leo.
But I'm shy. But I'm a shy person.
Yeah.
But I'm willing to throw myself in a fire.
Yeah.
But as far as the sex, I mean, I was doing 12 shows a year. Like, you're on some strong stuff, right? Yeah. So you're going to be horny.
Yeah, fucking oath.
I was never married.
Yeah.
I had a kid, but I was never married. I had, I had relationships, but I was friendly, I would say.
No, I get it.
I have a big appetite. You're going to have a big appetite, put it that way.
Well, I think it'd be, look, it's actually sad it would be sad to know you had that package and you didn't utilize it, man. I'm telling you now, it'd be sad. It'd be very sad if I knew you had that kind of package. If you told me you had that package and you had tea and biscuits, I'd be a little sad, because I'd say, what a waste of a package, man. Give that package to me. I'd fucking take that package on. But I remember when I took a cycle, and I wasn't really seeing someone. I think I had someone that I was on and off a little bit. But when I was on the cycle, I thought, shit, I better keep her on. I'm feeling pretty good at the moment, and maybe I could really make her happy. And I don't know, it was definitely, like you said, it does get you horny. And like I said, when you're running a good package, I mean, the whole thing's unreal, because especially there's nothing like a girl complimenting your body and also telling you you're really good at what you're doing. I mean, fuck it, that's like a signed, sealed, delivered, all that hard work and sacrifice and dieting. I mean, we want the stage trophy, but we do want the bedroom trophy as well. We want the ladies. Well, like I said to you, and maybe anyone listening to the podcast, forgive me, because, I mean, you know, both ways with the women and the men out there at the moment, but a great package. But there's nothing like enjoying it, having fun with it. You built it up, and like I said, your package was what you had built was amazing. So I'm happy to hear it was utilized. I'm happy to hear it was utilized. But also, you mentioned it wasn't, hear me out, it wasn't your whole life. There was parts of your life, and there was moments in your life, but you also probably those moments taught you how to come back more disciplined. You know, we need moments to stray. We need moments to skewer. Yeah. And we come back stronger and better. Like, if I can't be all prim and proper and dialed in. And sometimes, you know, someone told me once at the end of life, when someone asks you, tell me about your life, no one talks about their bank account. They talk about their experiences. So when you tell someone about your stage, when you tell people about your journey, and let me tell you something, when you tell people how many fucking countries you went to, I'm telling you, you are very much worldwide. Many bodybuilders would only wish they could jump on a plane and go to Russia, Spain, Germany, France, New Zealand, Switzerland, Ukraine. You mentioned Greece. I mean, you are worldly. You're a worldly guy, man. And even if you've dabbled in the sex, drugs, and rock and roll, that's a great story. That's a great bodybuilding story. It's a story, man. But you've got, 70 odd competitions you've gone in. No one can do that. No one can take your record, mate. You are the OG. You are the OG.
Yeah, I got it down to 12 wins, 22 second place, 36 top 3 placings, 55 pose downs.
Do you know? Do you know that? I think it's Hamilton in their Formula One. They talk about one of the greatest.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, you're the Lewis Hamilton of bodybuilding.
Lewis Hamilton. That's right.
Yeah, you're the Lewis Hamilton of bodybuilding.
I watch him. My brother, that's one of my brother's favorite racers. So
yeah,
he's got me checking him out.
Yeah, Well, you're Lewis Hamilton's. You're the Lewis Hamilton of. I've given you many names. I've given you Mike Tyson. I've given you Floyd Mayweather, Barry White, and now you're Lewis Hamilton. Well, I think we've gone through everything. Just 2 more things. What do you think about that comment from what's his name? In relation to Arnold. Arnold likes to cause a bit of controversy, but Ali Bilal refusing now to compete at the Arnolds, and all this talk about men's physique. I guess we can't not talk about it a little bit, but what do you think?
You could look at it different ways. You know, for one, I think he wasn't totally putting it down as far as.
I think he was having a bit of a play, a bit of a laugh, a bit of sarcasm.
Yeah. And Arnold's like that, you know. He was just saying that he'd like to see more of the leg, you know, it's a human physique, once you cover up the leg. And then he took offense to it. Ali took offense to it, and like, you know, I'm not going to compete anymore. I mean, you can look at it different ways. You can see how someone be okay, you know, but you know, the way the age the competitors are now, they're kind of sensitive about stuff. Mm. And, you know, Ali has one of the most premier physiques in the class right now.
He does.
But, you know, this class, you know, this sport it's always going to be someone else that is just willing to take your place, whether he does it or not.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. It's next.
And yeah, you know, if I pass away tomorrow or today, the world is still going to turn. 12 o'clock's going to come. Everything's going to roll around the same.
The phones are going to ring. The phones are going to ring.
Going to still laugh at the end of the day.
Yeah.
You know, they may remember me, but they're gonna go on. Everything's gonna go on.
Yeah, no. Well, like I said, and what about Bob Ciccarello and his comment with Nick Walker and Nick Nick Walker is, who the fuck is Bob?
Yeah. What about Bob?
What about Bob? That's like Conor. That's like Conor McGregor when he said, "Who the fuck is that guy?" It's going to go in history now.
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny though.
Yeah,
I think it's funny. You know, I don't think he's worried about what Bob thinks of him. I don't think he's probably heard everything he can hear. He's another Leo, by the way.
Yeah.
So I never count out. I never count out Nick from what he can accomplish. He did win the Arnold Classic. He did win the New York Pro. He did win some big shows over people with smaller waists than his. There's a guy back in the day that I felt I had a better physique than. I had a smaller waist. His name is Jay Cutler.
Jay Cutler, yeah.
Keep him from winning 4 Olympias, 3 Arnold Classics. And I feel like, you know, I beat Jay on different occasions. If you look at some of those shows of people I beat, the Ironman, the New York, the Night of Champions when I won it, there were some great champions behind me that I beat.
Yeah.
Ronnie was there, Jay was there, everybody was there in my era. I did beat them at one time or another. Anybody can win, anybody can do something with a lot of heart behind what they're doing. And you know, Nick has a lot of heart. So you can never really count him out. Like, he just cannot. It's not like impossible. It will be hard, but it's not impossible.
No, well, he hasn't been on stage for a while, and I think that's probably playing on his mind as well. I mean, you can put it on size, but the attitude and the touching the stage, getting conditioned again, I guess. But look, I think, like you said, I think I didn't know who Nick Walker was until I saw his legs one day. And I said, who the fuck is that guy? Literally. And I guess we need someone to stir it up at the moment, because these top 3 guys at the moment, there's
not a lot of talk between, not a lot of exciting going on.
Yeah, I think Nick Walker's going to bring the excitement to the game, and we've got to bring rock and roll into bodybuilding. I think we need to.
Even when Nick's on stage, you see his attitude on stage. It's like, that's what I want to see. Some. So that's awesome. That's all right. I'm all right with it.
And do you think we need an extra day for the girls? Because now we've got Fit Model coming, man. I mean, Jesus Christ. They're going to go all week by the time we get through all their lineups.
Maybe we can, I don't know. I think they're going to figure out how to fit that all in. Maybe be a day earlier or something like that, maybe. I don't know. I know there's room for so many different body types from the women and different styles. So, I mean, it's here, so we'll see how it goes.
All right, before we go over the body and finish up, last question. When you retired, did you feel lost? How was your mental health? And if you could go back to any time, anywhere, what would you change, do better? You mentioned possibly less competitions. You mentioned about, Doran, Yates. You think that maybe trying to keep the weight on or whatever you were trying to do. But without putting words in your mouth, which I seem to have done, but how did you feel when you retired? Did you feel lost? And what would you change to go back?
It's just that I wanted to walk out the door the way I wanted to walk out the door. I never really retired. I never said, hey, I'm retiring now. I just kind of like went quiet and just rethinking things. I felt, like I said, I was down financially, really hard time at the time, because that's where I was making my living.
Yeah.
And I was And I was expecting to have a whole another 5 more years. I was expecting to take the baton and run with it. And that was the whole plan. It was like, okay, I'll just keep competing. And these guys, I'm going to be able to take out, the Dexters and the people like that. I felt that I was bigger than I could be, I could take those guys and win the Olympia. And then, it was a low period, man. I was down to basically nothing, and coming out of the hospital. Then I went back and had another surgery on my L4, L5, got fused.
Yeah.
So that was a time where, you walk out of the hospital, your left leg is turning 9 o'clock, your right leg is 12 o'clock. And then you got to slowly try to get that foot back to walking right and I went through all of that and sitting there and not having nothing. I came back, went to school for trained with Doran after that time.
Yeah.
Yeah, after that time. And all of that happened. I went on a bicycle, motorcycle, BMX track with my son. At that time, I fell off a tabletop jump.
Yeah. We do that. We do that.
I wasn't on my bike. So when I went to push back, I got caught on the seat and I wasn't able to push back.
Yeah, but let's be real. But let's be real, Chris. You're not 16. You're not 18.
I know.
You're not fucking 20. Brother, come on. That's what I've learned. When I don't try to force my foot into the front forks to lift the back up and do a bunny hop or whatever you call it anymore, mate. I know I see old guys doing it and they end up pretty bad, man. I'm not going to try to. I just want to look good on my BMX, man. I just want to look good, man. I don't want to hurt the BMX either. I don't want to hurt it.
Every once in a while, you get caught up doing something like, I did this before. You can't do it anymore.
You can't do it.
But anyway, yeah. So all of those things, man. It was a tough time because it's not going to be any more screaming in the crowd. It's never going to be. You hit a certain pose or a certain hand movement, and you're not going to hear the cheer and the everything anymore like that. But I slowly but surely climbed back into doing more podcasting now. Slowly but surely climbed into, I was in the gym a lot more. Well, actually PT training, but I found that, doing an 8 to 10 hours in the gym is not my thing.
Nah.
But I could do a little specialty stuff. I can get hired, 2 or 3 people max in one day.
Yeah.
With the type of effort that it takes for me to put someone through a proper training and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Working with Dark Sport, that's been great for me. It keeps me active with the posting and the whole being a part of the Dark Sport family. That's been amazing. And myself, Dorian, Kevin, Kai Green, Dexter Jackson, we all with Dark Sport, they respect the old school.
I noticed that. Some great athletes in that, man.
Yeah, Charles Glass in there. Yeah, they all respect the old school, but also the new school, the young one.
I saw the Francelica was in it. Francelica's part of that.
Yeah, the wellness girls. Yeah. They got all the top wellness girls over there. Yeah. So that's been amazing. And then working with Olympia TV, doing the Primetime Muscle, doing the Dennis James podcast every week. That, and then the traveling with my Real Deal Nutrition.
Yeah.
It's great. And getting more and more with the Yava Labs, under the same umbrella. So that keeps me pretty busy and then special things when I'm going to help different people with their careers as far as the training and the posing and the taking some people under my wing. Got Brooke Walker's coming back to the physique competition. I'm helping her fully. She took third in the Olympia a couple of years in physique, women's physique, and I'm looking for her to to get back up in the mix with those top girls. So yeah, stuff like that keeps me pretty busy, man. And it's I'll be going to the FIBO again. That's where, you know, that's all in Germany. That's where it's like the biggest field, the biggest expo in the world. So that's my thing right now.
Well, I like I said to you, I really believe there's an entertainment factor coming for bodybuilding. That's what I'm looking at. And I think if we look at bodybuilding and how do we make it entertaining, that's where the success and the money is. So in other words, it's got to be a showpiece. Like UFC's made a showpiece, a signature name. Like, you know, when you talk about NFL, when you talk about NBA, when you talk about motor racing, when you talk about all the sport, even boxing, like even wrestling, I think bodybuilding's ready for the spectacular, and I don't think the spectacular's come yet. I think you guys are going to create the spectacular. And what I'm saying is you just got to sit there and say, and that's, I'm in Australia, but I'm kind of going in that direction too. And for me, it's the Tonight Show. We're the Tonight Show, and I'm Jimmy Fallon. So for me, I talk to everyone around the world. They trust me who I might bring on, but if not, I'll make it entertaining somewhat. But the thing is, you guys, just keep, like I said, I really see.
Well, I have the IFBB and the IFBB Worldwide. They have, 20 daughters over there.
Yeah.
And
That's
in
right.
Australia, been one of my best friends, like ever.
Yeah.
And he, him and, you got the Manions over here in America. You got Steve Weinberger, been a strong entity in the sport for so long. But it's just, I think it's getting more and more prize money now. I think that's what we were trying to help happen from many years ago. I hope people see that that's why that was the main goal of keeping this thing going, is to create more money for everyone. And I'm happy to see that it's going up and up and up for the guys, and it's great.
Well, I think you guys are the entertainers. That's what I'm saying. You stick to, like I'm just saying, if the Dohertys are great ringmasters and they're doing a great job and they're putting on spectaculars and everyone's putting on the bright lights and the showpiece, but like I said, the commentary now, what you guys are doing, and obviously generating, because sponsors want to put their money somewhere to be seen, and the only way they're seen now is online. That's television. Yep. Television online, like all the stuff you do. So, like I said, I personally think you're the smooth operator, man. You're one of the smoothest operators, Chris. Honestly, I honestly see you. You are. There's no one like you. There's no one like you. Meaning, you come across to me as the coolest cat of all. I think there's never been a bodybuilder like you. I don't think there's anyone will be like you for all the things you've done in bodybuilding. Someone that's traveled the world, that's world exposed. I think you have so much to offer the sport, because I think the sport can be naive in some ways. So I just want to tell you how I respect you, but also watching you, I'm learning and watching from you as well. So like I said to you, hats off to you. Let's go over the body. I'm going to give you a body part. I just need an exercise, sets and reps. Are you ready? It's really quick. So let's start with traps.
Traps. Well, you always got I do this one exercise that I felt built up my traps, and when I'm talking about trapeze, whatever, I'm talking about they come up to the base of your skull.
Wow. Yep.
Right. So I would do this exercise. It's like and I had, from having a bad lower back, I would do like a thing where I'd go on the Smith machine. Yep. I keep it around knee height.
Yep.
And I'm here in this position here.
Yep.
And I come up to the top.
Oh, yes.
Come all the way to the ears.
Yes.
Contracting here.
Yes.
Then I actually leave that contraction back up towards the ears.
Oh, reverse.
Front.
Yep.
And then I lower myself to knee height.
And
going to a full deadlift or something like that, that helped me tremendously in my career. I could show you some I got a photograph where you can see the full striations.
Send it to us because we'll make sure we edit. Send it
Yeah,
to us.
yeah.
Send it to us so we'll put it in the
For sure.
so we'll put it up on when we're talking about this on the podcast. What about delts, rear delts?
No, sorry, the sets around the 3 sets of 15.
Yeah, thank you. No, I'm glad you said that because I most people forget. I don't, but you remember this time. Delts, rear delts.
Rear delts, I do this one thing, and it's hard when people do rear delts. It's like they forget that they need to isolate that little small muscle. It's not a huge muscle; it's a small one. So if you're utilizing most of your back to try to make that work, it's not going to be as prominent as far as development.
True.
So hold the dumbbell to the top here, keep my arm in the up this down, keep my arm in a almost like you got an arm in the sling.
Yep.
Here.
Oh wow.
Here and back to here.
I'm doing that.
And then I like to do 3 sets of 12 to 15 with that, and I like to superset that with the reverse fly.
Wow. Yeah. How many sets and reps? How many sets and reps there?
3 sets of 15, but I do a superset with both.
Okay.
Just 3 sets. And I like to hit that primary muscle that you're trying to hit. Is once you start to leave that primary muscle, is probably towards the end of that set.
Okay. I've noticed you need a lot of mind to muscle on that exercise. You need a lot of mind to muscle.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You have to. Side delts.
Side delt. Well, I like the seated curl. I like also dumbbells. I call it up the rack, down the rack. I did this with Ronnie Coleman back in the day. I pick a lighter weight, say like a 10, 15, 20, 25.
Yep.
And 10 reps, 10 reps, 10 reps, 10 reps.
Yep.
And then rest there. I'm putting my pinky at the back of the dumbbell.
Yep.
And I'm coming up, boom, boom, boom. So I'm doing that one full set up, one full set back, all 10 reps each, then one more.
That's a burn.
And then
That's a burn.
And then I go to presses for the front, and then I go to the rears. But then then I make my turn back, and I use a machine side lateral machine.
Wow.
That'd be 12 to 15.
Okay, yeah. It also seems like a drop set as well in some ways. Front delts?
I do dumbbells.
Yep.
Here, let me see. Here's my little gym.
Yeah.
Here.
Oh, yeah.
Not bringing the weights together, but I'm coming up just using that anterior head to the top of the motion.
Yep.
I get 2 dumbbells at one time. Plus, I hit that front military press seated. My second exercise in, so I hit it twice.
3 sets of 15, yeah.
Yeah.
Lats, back, an exercise. What do you like with your back?
Pullovers.
Yeah.
Pull downs.
Yeah. 3 sets of 15.
That one I like to go two sets of 15, 2 sets to max.
Wow. Chest.
I start with the incline barbell, and then I go incline machine. 2 sets to 15, 2 sets to max.
Abs.
I like rope crunches.
Yep.
And seated. I'm lying down.
Yep. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know those ones. Yeah. Yeah. Kickbacks. Yeah. How many sets in that? Reps?
That's 3 sets of 15.
Okay.
Each.
Bicep.
I give you one. My 10 arm routine. You got to try it.
Okay, tell me what it is.
Want to add some more peak and shape to your biceps? You're going to do very light weight, 20 pounds, 15 pounds may be enough. You can't over squeeze the dumbbell because it will cause too much pump in your bicep.
Okay.
You look at the clock going 10 minutes. So you do 10,
Yeah.
Repetitions, you lay back. 10 tricep extensions, you sit up.
Yeah.
You lay back 10 for 10 minutes straight. 3 days a week. So after you do legs, chest, or anything, your last repetition is this 10-minute arm routine, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. You do it for 1 month, you're going to see a huge difference.
All right, let's wait. So I'm going to send you,
you got to try it.
I'm going to send you a photo just in case.
Try it and
Wait,
get back to me after 1 month.
Which one's the biggest one? I'm going to work it. Chris, do you know which one's the biggest one? I don't know. Which one?
That one. This
one here. All right. So that's on the camera. I'm gonna do this, and then I'm gonna send it to you. Let you know. Well, we kind of spoke about tricep, but is there a tricep exercise particular?
That one, skull crusher, is great. Push down is always a staple.
Push down. Yeah.
So you can do the same thing. More reps, I think, because that's usually the first I like to do is triceps and then go to biceps.
Okay. 2 sets of something? How many? 15?
Yep. 2 sets.
It seems like forearms is making a comeback because many people weren't training forearms for a while. Every time you mention forearms, they're all going, I work them.
Yeah. I just felt like I got a lot when I'm grabbing stuff all the time. So I messed around with that when I was younger, but I felt like it was good enough just
let them be.
Yeah, let them be.
Okay.
So,
what about quads?
Quads, you got the leg extensions, same 215 or 2 max. You got the leg press. That can be either 5 sets of 20. I've done that before.
5 sets of 20. Oh my God, I'm already in pain.
And the hack squat's always been a strong press for me also. And hamstring, lying leg curls, seated leg curls, and then stiff leg. 2 sets of 15, 2 sets of failure.
All right. What about glutes?
I always had a big butt, so I didn't really mess around with that too much.
Yeah.
You had that from my mom, so but you didn't. Yeah, I didn't really mess with that too much. But they do, tend to, the kickbacks are great. The butt blaster is great.
Yeah.
If I had to tinker in something like that.
I've been doing is it the abductor? The abductor that works? Yeah,
I'm not a big fan of that.
I find with the abductor, you only got to think about it. Like, meaning not think about it. I mean, when you're doing, you got to connect the muscle. You can't just do it. Like, you got to sit there.
Think about this. First of all, if you have a big leg, do you really want to be rubbing your legs in the middle like that? If you made them grow,
but is it the?
No.
What's the one when you push out?
Oh, out. Oh, yes, for the glutes.
Yeah, I'm talking about the glutes. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. But if you're going, but a lot of people think they need to make the inside grow, and I'm like, first of all, that's an ugly leg.
Yeah.
I think it makes you look blocky.
Yeah, 100%.
You really got some growth there, and then it's like it don't look good. It don't look good to have that big right there. And
if that also, I guess what you're saying is, if that's if you're making that so prominent, it's going to take away from teardrop and sweep.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's going to make a teardrop look small.
Yeah, exactly.
100%. I agree.
Doesn't like some strips of bacon here with this big swollen thing in the middle.
No,
that's not a good leg.
No, I was talking about for the pushing out for the ass. For the glute.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one to start with.
Yeah, that one. Yeah. Calves.
Calves, I like to do half the stack for 15.
Yeah.
Quarter stack for 15, and my own body weight for 15. But the body weight for 15 is pigeon toed because I got more mass on the inside and it was less on the outside. I would do the pigeon toe at the end. You do 2 or 3 sets of that and you're going to be smoking.
Wow. All right. I mean, I just try to sound technical. Well, sorry?
You're going to be on fire if you did.
No, I'm already on fire thinking about it. The tibialis, that's the front of the calf. Did we try?
Yeah. I got a little tibialis.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Good to go. But You got all the exercises, huh?
Yeah. Well, that's it. We've got the whole body in, but like I said, we've got to get that photo of the traps. I can't believe how high your traps went. So we want to make sure, because when we put the podcast together, we're going to put a real showpiece for you. Tell us where we can find you. Tell everyone about Chris Cormier and everything you'll do. Where can we find you on socials, internet, YouTube? Where are you?
C3 TV. There's -- Chris Cormier, Cormier. There's I do have one on Facebook. It's Christopher Ray, but that's I use that one because I was getting blocked every time I made a post. I would get blocked out of my own thing, so I started using Christopher Ray.
What happened? What happened to Broderick?
What happened to Broderick?
What happened to Broderick?
Yeah, no one never really called me that. So my mother would call me that sometime, but I was named it, but they just called me Chris.
Oh, right. I was just
I
wondering.
never really, it's my government name.
You leave it for the government. They don't know who they don't know who Chris is, so you can launder money on Chris. But Broderick pays very minimal tax. Chris is in the Swiss bank account, and Broderick's got an American bank account that's literally broke. Got it. Well, Chris, man, thank you so much. I hope you. I firstly want to say thank you. It was a great podcast. I hope you enjoyed this podcast.
Yeah, it was awesome, man.
Yeah,
I haven't brought up the BMX trophies in a long time. I'm gonna have to clean them up now. Keep them out here.
You keep them out here, man. You got to do the story. Look, it's what the mentor told me this mentor. I never had this guy that is like a mentor. You know what he says? Products tell, stories sell. So stories, your BMX stuff, all that stuff. I think that's a real great story. That'll sell a lot to people wanting to invest in you being their mentor coach, you being the life coach, being a fucking real life coach, not a real fucking life coach. I mean, I never got to bring my BMX out. I don't think Chris has ever seen it, and I got to throw it up on the table. So
awesome.
So that was awesome. So I just wanted to say thanks, brother.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me on, and I'll have to get you that photo, man. You gotta check it out.
Oh, please. We're going to ask you for a lot of photos.